When you're sitting there in your silk upholstered chair, talking to some rich folks that you know, well, I hope you don't see me in my ragged company, for you know I could never be alone. Take me down, little Susie, take me down. I know you think you're the queen of the underground. Bring me dead flowers to my wedding. Bring me dead flowers by the mail. Bring me dead flowers in the morning. And I won't forget to put roses on your grave. What's up, guys? Do we have sound? How are we doing on sound? Do we have sound? Do we have taste? Do we have mushrooms? Got a little mushroom hat on. How are we doing? Testing, test. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope we have sound. Good sound. All right, good sound. Good picture, I hope. Yeah, I think we got an okay picture. I mean, it's all right. I mean, it's got this ugly guy on the screen, but whatever. What are you going to do? What's going on, Nirvana Aquatics? Good to see you. I've been licking all the fashion styles that you had lately with the makeup and the clothing, by the way. But not to be weird, I just was, but not to be weird. Also, I'm sorry your fish, the paradise fish died. That's a bummer. You had that one a while, it sounds like. But anyhow, Robert Clary, what's going on? Rune Wolf, what's going on? USMC, hey. Jan, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Yeah. Jeff, good to see you, my friend. And who else is in here that I missed? I'm sure I missed somebody. I'm sorry if I missed you and you've spoken up and I just didn't see you yet. But I'm pretty ready and rearing to go. This morning we had an exciting turn of events for my boring life. And that is hello, I Keep Fish, welcome, and Prodigal Quest, come on in, good to see you. So I have a shop light out in the carport it's not like a shop, not in its utility, it's not a shop light, but it is like an old school what do they call them, the compact fluorescent tube lighting. And it is one of the blinky horror movie, the ones you can swing and like shatter into dust if you break them. The long tubes. Are those CFLs? I think they're CFLs. Maybe they don't count as compact. I don't know. Maybe they're just FLs, fluorescent lighting, I suppose. But anyways, so though the light that I have hangs down, and it's an old one from like probably the 70s, I would guess, is when they put it in. And that's probably when the last light bulb was changed too, because it flickers and it's just like it just looks like a horror movie out there. Like, it's bad. We don't really use that light. We use a floodlight with an LED on it instead. But the light's up there nonetheless. It works in theory. And this morning I went out there at like 5 or 6 whenever I woke up, and I had a cup of coffee. I sipped my cup of coffee in my boxers. It was like 40 degrees. It was cold. I was like, man, it's cold. And I'm looking around and I'm hearing the birds chirp, and Sumi, the kitty, she's in the window and she's just going back and forth like anxiously and going, and I'm like, what is your problem, weirdo? What is your deal? And she's just like just anxiously like rubbing into me with her head, and I'm like, oh, you're so loving, you're so sweet. And I finally I kind of look around and I'm like, what are you freaking out about? Are you seeing a rat or something? Because that's what she'll do when she sees like the rabbit in the yard. We have a rabbit that comes all the time and eats my wife's garden. and the cat will just go nuts when she sees the rabbit, and she just freaks out for like a half hour. Sorry if the computer was glitchy there. I don't know. My internet's been acting up. Last night it was like not working at all. But anyways, birds built a nest above this shop light, and they're robins. And I have never seen, for one, I've never seen a male robin with its breast so beautifully, like, I mean, it was this color red. Like, it was not just like, kind of orangey, brownish, rusty red. No, it was like, it looked like someone had like dyed that bird, like not a normal robin. And I don't know, like, I guess he's just really healthy or something. But the robin was making a nest, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I just got my coffee and I sat down, and I hear the cat inside on the window, just hear this like muffled like boom, 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 boom. And it's her tail hitting the window, like switching back and forth really hard. And you can hear the bink, bink. And the birds are just going back and forth, the male and the female coming and going. You can watch them. One's definitely way bigger, the male, and way brighter. And then they brought all this crap, like all these like leaves and grass and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, even though they were making a mess in the carport, and I'm thinking about it, and as I'm watching them, I'm like, I wonder where they're gonna poop. Like, they don't poop in their nest, but do they wake up in the middle of the night and they're just like, I gotta poop, and they just like walk to the edge of the nest and just take a dump off the side? And I'm like, that's my truck. So I was like, that's less than ideal. And I was just kind of thinking like, that's weird. And I was sitting and contemplating all these, very deep thoughts in life about this new bird's nest. And I was shocked. In a half hour of me sitting there and just kind of sucking in the morning light and the world, they had like put a wad of materials up there, just flying back and forth from where the yard trimmings of like where we run the like weed eater recently. And then they were coming back and forth with what was really cool. I watched them go to the neighbor's house, and it would take a piece of either bark or a piece of a leaf, and it would scrape with its head sideways like this down the gutter, and it would get all this mucky mud that was dripping wet on it, and like silty looking mud. And then it would go back down and pick it up like a taco with the mud in it folded in the taco. And then it would fly back up onto the top of the light, and I'd watch it, and it would set it down, and both birds would be taking their beak and taking globs of it stuck to their beak and putting it onto the grass that was loosely in a circle at this point. And so I went back inside after a while, and I was like, wow, that's really wild. In 2 hours, they had the dang thing built. And I'm not talking like a little nest. I'm talking like it could have been a hat. They could have built me a hat in that same amount of time. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. That's wow. I didn't know that, birds did it that fast, or like that, and then you could see that they were shoring up the outside bottom with more of the mud. So they're like building it up into like on the top of the light. They're kind of building it up onto the 4x4 beam that it was screwed into also. And so I was like, all right, that's cool. And yeah, I know birds using tools. I know that's been documented a lot now, but I still think it's cool because I've never seen a robin do that. I've seen crows with sticks in their mouth doing funky things. Corvids are known to do that a lot, but ravens and crows and blue jays. But anyways, so then I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And I showed my wife. I was like, hey, look, we're going to have birds. I'm sure they're going to have babies in there. And she's like, don't you remember what happened at the old house? And I was like, yeah. And I couldn't for the life of me remember what happened at the old house. And then she's like, they had them in the wall. And I was like, oh, yeah. And she's like, our bedroom wall is like right over like 5 feet away. And I was like, oh yeah, well, it's okay. We probably won't hear him. And so when I went inside, she was making bird cheeps, and you could hear it clear as day. And I was like, okay, all right, you can probably hear them. So that was the first little thought in my head, and they're still coming and going, coming and going. Well, then I go back out there with my coffee cup and I get pretty close to try to inspect it closely. And the bird comes in and goes, the male comes in and goes, like, and starts just losing his mind over me being near the nest. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a problem because that's like our front door. That's where we come and go from the house. So we ended up, I ended up taking the bird's nest and moving it to another. We have like these trusses that hold up the carport. So I moved it to the far truss. I got some big gloves on and like gathered all the stuff they'd kind of grab. And then I was like, man, I don't know what prevents them from just starting over. But I was like, but I don't want them to lay eggs here, because I'd feel really bad if I moved a nest with eggs in it. So and I went and got my mom bought me some cologne because her best friend is works at Nordstrom, cologne person, perfume and cologne person. So she brought me this cologne to try. So I went out there and used the cologne and was like, oh, I hate to smell this. I'll just put this all over the freaking place. And so they didn't attack me when I moved the nest, because they'd flown away to the power lines like across the way, and they were kind of just staring at me, and they both had like wads of moss in their mouth, and I was like feeling really bad. But then it started to kind of rain a little bit, so I was like, well, I don't know. And they flew off for a little while, but I haven't seen them come back this like in an hour. So I really hope they come back and I didn't like ruin their whole thing. At the same time, like if it makes you feel any better and you've ever knocked a nest out of a bush or a tree or pruning or something, or cutting through a path and like you end up knocking one out of the huckleberry bush or something, like I've definitely done that a couple times in my life, 2 or 3 times in my life, and felt really bad. Well, apparently robins, at least, and like starlings and sparrows, they can just build a new nest in like 4 hours. There are other birds like chickadees that spend 7 to 10 days. So I was researching all about birds. Nothing fish related done this morning. Other than watching some videos after who was it? Lush Salt. I always screw up his name. Salty Lush. I always screw up his handle. Lush and Salty Lush Aquatics, whatever. He's in Chicago. You guys know who I'm talking about. If you know, you know. He does writing for Aquarium Co-op newsletter stuff, but he sent me a thing saying, hey, you should check out Pond Life Aquatics from the UK, and respond Lush and Salty. Yes, thank you. And I was trying to like so I was watching through some of his content, and somebody was like, yeah, you should look through it, and I was like, yeah, okay. And he's like, I'd like to know your take. Like, do you agree with, and I watched it and I was like, wow, that's really good content. So I was very impressed. And I even was like, wow, I want to do my channel more like that. Like the way he did it fast enough, but he still cited studies and he had the name just of the person. I mean, I'll probably still screenshot the studies because then you can freeze it and read more if you want, and like make sure you have the right study if you're interested. But still, like he's got a channel with only like 4,000 subscribers right now. So I guess I'm endorsing it as much as I've seen on his channel so far, because he's addressed the true nature of the nitrogen cycle, how like archaea actually do a lot of our cycling. And then he was talking about how a lot of plants don't actually utilize nitrates in the water, and the fact that even 40 or 50 parts per million of nitrates is enough to cause health problems and stress in fish. So some of that stuff is stuff that like I feel like I have brought up and touched on in videos, and I wasn't smart enough to find the headline in my video. And so I literally, covered the same topic, made it a half hour long, and I called it like the nitrogen cycle, the anoxic nitrogen cycle you don't know in deep substrate, or something like that, right? And I'm like, wow, I should have just left it more simple like he did. Straightforward, boom. So yeah, anyways. But yes, Lush Salty Aquariums is a good dude. And so, I mean, that pond guy seems like a good dude too. So from all I've heard from others and from him. Motab B, what's going on? Good to see you. George, also great to see you. I Keep Fish and Bambi McCluskey. Joe Haney, what's going on? Those birds, yeah, they might be plotting. They might move my house while I'm sleeping next. Or next time I go to the store, my house is just going to be gone. Christina, good to see you also. And Kevin, what's up? And then 3SM400, 400 feet. I don't know what that means, but hello. Let's see here. Okay, so guys, I want today to talk about and Sean Wolf, what's up? Hello from Montana. Right on. Good to see you. I hope you are in Western Montana for your sake. I mean, all of Montana is great, but man, Western Montana in the mountains is beautiful, and like I like the fly fishing. Although there's more interesting fish species in Eastern Montana, but man, Billings, that city is just not a pretty city in my opinion. No offense if you live there. I know that's where statistically the most people live, in Billings. Oh, you live by Glacier? Oh, awesome. Are you in Kalispell or something? Love it out there. That's like God's country. That's and if it's God's country, that means I would definitely be there too. Yeah, also Benson Eats, what's up? Good to see you, man. Any word from Chang? Oh, Whitefish, yeah, totally. I know exactly where you are. Lovely area. Any word from Chang when the fish from his Asia trip are ready for sale? Yeah. So the fish that he got on his trip, well, or rather the connections he made, he had already ordered. So let's pull up his site right now. Moonlight Aquatics. He just got in some fish. I could pull up his site. Let me show you real quick because I know they're not on his site yet, but he's literally working on that today or tomorrow. They haven't even quarantined yet, so he hasn't. Or they haven't finished, or they just have finished. So they're not for sale in the store yet. So long story short is like you're not missing out. Let me just put it that way. He's got some fish that have been here a couple weeks that he's been keeping an eye on because of the fact that they're from a source that he doesn't always get them from, but that he thought was a good source from Medaka. Because yeah, he did get let's see here. Hold on, I'm just responding. I'm getting a message here. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so he got the Medaka. They're fancy Medaka, and he had to get them from an interesting place that he hadn't gotten them from before. And now I'm trying to find. Okay, here we go. So he got these fish, and he was like, I don't know what I should sell them for. And he's sending me all these beautiful pictures of, they are really clean looking fish. They're looking really good. He's got like 20 tanks of them. That might be, that's probably a gross overstatement. Come on, focus on these. Yeah, so those were not just red caps, they were like red heads. Because some of the red caps, like those are the red caps that have just the red on the top of their head. So when you view them, they're red. That's the thing that people care about. Well, he also has red, like where their whole head is red. And then he has like some that have like a diamond shaped tail, and some that have like a yellow ghostly tail. Some that have a more of a delta or like a waterfall, kind of like a flouncy tail, if you were. So he's got some nice rice fish. And the cool thing is he got them in, and most people at the price that he got them for, I already was like, so are you going to have to charge like 15 or 20 bucks then for those? And he's like, I thought about it, but I think I'm going to do like 7 and 10. And I was like, bro, that's not the threefold margin like rule. Like, what are you doing? In my mind, I was like, that's kind of weird. But he was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And so, another reason why I support Moonlight Aquatics, like that is so freaking cool of him, because he and I both agree that there just needs to be more breeders, like in our area, but in the whole country. Like there just needs to be more breeders of Medaka. We've tried, like in my club, we've done a thing every year where we usually, well, not every year, but a lot of years where we'll try and hand out either Medaka or mountain minnows or meteor minnows, white cloud mountain minnows. And so it ends up being, like here's 6, our club will go in and buy them or whatever. And anybody who wants to participate gets 6, and you get something like 2 females guaranteed or whatever, and then but it might be a different mixture than that. So you could luck out. But anyways, you start with that, and in a perfect world, you'd have the ratio the same. But anyways, the idea is you start in May and put them in your patio, and in the Northwest in Seattle, pretty much from here out, like it's not going to drop below 40 at night. And all those fish tend to survive that, especially if they're tucked against the house. Like then it probably is going to be more like 45 or 50 degrees ish is the cold spot. But you have to watch just in case, I suppose. But anyways, the idea is to check in September, and then there's an auction to sell them off. And a lot of times people have bred certain traits, or they're working for multiple years on doing certain traits. So I think that's a super fun idea for local fish clubs to do, or even for like us as a channel to do it. If we had, an agreement of like you start with however X amount of rice fish, and then spawn them and see how many you can end up with. You'd have to keep people honest, obviously, but yeah. And let's see here. Random question. I haven't heard or seen anything from Dr. Mazerall in ages. I don't know what's going on with him. I know that their nonprofit has been doing well. I think that I shouldn't speak for him, but I'm gonna. I think he doesn't love being on social media, like having to do it. Like I don't think he dislikes it, but I don't think it's something he has a passion for, obviously. And I think that when he's doing it, he's basically stumping for his nonprofit. And so if he could get money just as easy or more from other places, then he's going to schmooze the university, or he's going to fill out the grant work, or whatever it may be that gets him the end goal, which is supporting ARCOP. So I think he's kind of just a little bit let that fall by the wayside is my guess. He also moved, which is a big deal. Like he picked up and moved after the place where he had spent his whole like career and at the university and everything, and retired. So there's that. And by retired, I guess I don't know if I should say that, because I don't know if he still might have, he still might be working with universities and stuff. I don't know to what capacity, or if it's part-time, or, like what that means. Because professors sometimes have very loose affiliations with the university, and they can be like not officially working and teaching, but they can still be doing, research work. So maybe he's doing that too. I'm not sure on that front, but I would love to have him back on the show. He likes to tease me a lot, and he's real sarcastic to me. So I sometimes can't tell like what he's really up to, but yeah. Let's see here. SNR Medaka has some beauties also. Anyone going up to the Medaka meetup in Orinda? How do you say that? Orinda? Why can't I say that? Orinda? In the next at the end of the month. Man, why can't I say that word? I know I've heard that word, and I'm gonna hit myself in the face when I say it right. But whatever. Let's see here, Alex. Is there a line you're interested in? I could send it to you if I have them. Oh yeah, I forgot George at AQUABall. Even though he doesn't have the ball part of his name anymore, the ball pythons, right? He still has geckos, I think, and then he's got his fish, obviously. But he's been raising a bunch of plants and fish last I saw, and he's saying he has some. All right, well, I will have to chat with you, sir, because I do really want to get a couple rice fish again. I don't want a fancy line. I want a line that has babies and does okay. I've had some of the fancier lines that are like all flauncy finned and stuff, and they don't do as well in the cold, or like, and not even just cold, but like the swing of my house being 65 in the winter and 80 in the summer or whatever. They don't like that. Like some of the really fancy ones want like 78 year round. Same with like goldfish, right? So there's that. But yeah, so he got his stuff. Their website on SNR is sold out. That's interesting. Uncle Smiley's Aquariums, what's up? Good to see you. Orinda, thank you. Yeah, I should have known that. Moneyless Maven, what's up? Also good to see you. The platinums, yes, platinums are super hardy. They're like the orange, like Miyuki blues, and the there's a number of them that are pretty hardy, yeah. But like the pearl, yeah, the pearls are pretty good too. But okay, cool. Thanks, George. I would appreciate that, man. I'll come visit you soon. Just let me know when they rebuild that motel, so I'll have a place to stay. Okay, so let's get this show on the road and pull up some of what Moonlight Aquatics. I want to actually, you know what? First, let's do Imperial Aquatics first, because they have some fish that I was like, man, I don't keep those. They're not nano fish necessarily. I mean, they do have a lot of nano fish and stuff, but they had some stuff like they had some rainbow pike cichlids that I was like, oh my goodness, I would pay. I've seen them go for $150. Now they're selling them as very small fry, like 2 inches long, and they get over a foot long. But still, like if you have a nice setup that's waiting, like either Blackwater, or you've got like a nice planted setup that, I don't know, they might tear it up a bit, but like a nice South American aquarium, or like something that you would think in your head is like a discus type or angelfish type setup, or Oscar or Waru type setup. Man, they have some cool stuff. Let me pull that up real quick. And at the bottom of the screen, if you guys want to support the channel, you can do so by supporting these retailers. Now, they don't they either give me credit, like gift card money basically on an account, and I can order things I want and then show them on the channel, and or actual, like at a way lower rate, actual cash. That's kind of how the whole internet and aquarium hobby work. Now, a lot of places do commissions of 10-20%, the kind of like crazy numbers. And it's not like that. I don't get anything from from some of the places at all. So like, and I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but like Grant Eater at Garden of Eater Shrimps, I still think that's where you guys should get your Caridina shrimp. But Grant, Shelby, their kids, I love their family. I know they're hardworking people. I know they're, good people. And yeah, so I still think TGO, the Garden of Eater, shrimps, TGOE shrimps.com is the best place to get Caridina shrimp in America, like American bred shrimp. And I stand by that. But again, there's a code that's secret 10, I believe, that gets you 10% off. But anyways, so with Imperial Aquatics, 5%, it's a 5% off. Now I wish I could get it higher, but I can't. And they said that honestly, they just want to keep their prices lower and do it that way, which that's like Dan's Fish was always kind of like that. He did a 10% on the first one and then 5% on on future sales is how he did it for discounts usually. And then, he changed it. But I get it from a store owner's point of view. But yeah, so Imperial Tropicals, I've got video of their facility. Corey at Aquarium Co-op toured their facility really recently. People are coming and going from that place all the time. In the last couple years, he's opened it a lot more. I was the first person at the time to go there and open it, but now they do it twice a week. They do live streams that you guys should check out. They do giveaways, and yeah, they're a quality place that broke the stranglehold of Seagrass Aquatics. And Seagrass used to mandate, like, you're a farm and you're going to grow me 15,000 rainbow fish a month of the threadfin kind, right? And people would say, okay, and we'll guarantee we'll buy them for $250. Well, then, like, as the years went on and the family, the original guy, retired, next generation comes in, other people come in, other people get more power or, get involved. Deals start changing, and there's things like they used to do, like advancing stock or going out and getting really high quality stock and giving that to the people. Little stuff like that changed. And some people were like, okay, I can live with it. Other people were frustrated right from just those kind of changes. But then it was about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe, that Seagrass had a number of years in a row where they told farmers, like, we're going to buy angelfish for $1.50 a piece when they're grown out. And everybody who was willing to do it, they're tight margins, but they would buy enough that it's like for all the Petcos and all the PetSmarts and Walmarts. So, okay, well, it's worth it. We'll do 1 million angelfish this year. Well, then the 8 months or 9 months it takes to grow out, all of a sudden Seagrass was like, we only actually needed 700,000. So those 300,000, we can't let you sell them off because you have a do not compete clause. But maybe we'll buy some more later, and then never came back and buy. And it's just, it leaves farmers in a terrible position. And so between that and between the fact that Seagrass was selling, even though the farmers had the ability to sell wholesale to other people, Seagrass was basically cutting that business off too. So they were undercutting prices by guaranteeing they had the lowest price or a break-even price. And then they had so much freight and mail that nobody can compete. Well, and that's, that's just standard American business practice type stuff, unfortunately. But Imperial was one of the very first. Imperial and BioAquatics with an X at the end, and then Imperial Tropicals, and lastly 5D are the companies that first were like, you know what, we're going to just sell on our website too. And Seagrass was like, you're cut off. And so for a while there, it was like, are they going to survive? And now to see Imperial, like I went down there right after they actually built their first sleek website about 5 years ago. And now to see them doing so well, and like they're doing better than when they worked with Seagrass, they have more diversity. They're employing more people. Like, it's so cool. Like $9.99 for this $40 fish. Are you kidding me? They get these like super rare niche fish because people, you know, like Pam Chin or like Gary Lang or Greg Sage, Bodrock, you know, people like that want to work with them. I mean, a jaguar cichlid, that's gonna grow up to be an angry fish. But for $7.49, I mean, they have really good deals on this deal page. So check out the deal page and really using the code Fishery when you check out, all caps Fishery. Look at this, $9.99, buy one, get one giraffe cichlid. That's crazy. I mean, those are $20 fish, but I mean, these are beautiful freaking fish. The male and female have some variation, and then also they have a change halfway in their life. And you get the giraffe pattern in the background, obviously, but you get that head that's bright blue, and then they get the body pattern comes out stronger later. But they also have $3.99 sunburst platies, for instance. These are where you know, places exactly like, I mean, exactly like, and not just like, but actually, this is where like Petco used to get their stuff. Also, blue Batis. I mean, look at this. These are some really nice blue Batis. And they're $6.99. Really good deal. Only 4 left on those, but they have really good stuff, and they breed it in house, which I like. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Columbia green Severums. These are they had $29 for the little unsexed ones, but for the adults, $39.99. These are beautiful fish. They have huge eyes. But I mean, their website, if you, especially if you like cichlids, but I mean, look at this. They've got Scarlet Batis for $6.99, which is a really good deal. Unsexed, I'm sure that they're probably mostly males. Just that's how it goes. But I mean, yeah, they do have a really good deal on cyprinids and stuff like that too, even though they get shouted out for other stuff. So like here they've got the Celestial Pearl CPDs, and they have what is it, a 10-pack for $89.99. So it ends up being $8.99 essentially for each fish, which right now they're going for $10 at Aquarium Co-op. Well, plus sales, so 11 or 11.50 at Aquarium Co-op. So I mean, that's like what they're going for at local shops and stuff. I know a lot of things have gone up and people are annoyed by that, but that's just the reality of things. Also, a mention of the Emerald Dwarf Rasboras. They are in season right now, and it's not that they're so much like not in season, but they do go out of season. So right out, they're sold out. But what would it have been? A 10-pack for $74, so $7.50 for each fish in a 10-pack. Now this is the one I'm curious about. That's a killer deal. So this is $3.50 a fish for dwarf rasboras for maculatus. So yeah, I mean, I think Imperial is definitely a good one to check out. Right now, they are sold out of the chili rasboras. But what I was gonna say is chili rasboras, and we're gonna hop out of here and we're gonna go over to Moonlight Aquatics. But then I'm gonna actually, we'll get that up on the screen, but paste. But I want to come back and make sure I'm caught up on chat real quick. Hello everyone. KG Tropicals is getting back into selling fish. Oh yeah. I saw something about that. Alex, are Royal Tetras and Emperor Tetras one in the same? Yes. They are. So there's Imperial and Emperor and Imperial Royal. Like there's a lot of goofy names out there, I have to say, that I see and I'm like, could you make it more confusing, please? Because it's just a nightmare to untangle like the trade names. So really the best way to do things is by Latin name. And I know people hate learning the Latin, but if you can learn the Latin name, it really does help, because Imperial or Emperor is not the same thing for one. Those are way different tetras. But emperor tetras are also 3 fish, which is really frustrating. There are 3 species of fish that are all kind of considered, they're all in the, I always mess up the name of it, but the I'm not going to say it. I'm not even going to try. They're all in the same genus. But there's one that's very clearly not the same as the others, but the other ones, they have domesticated so much that now you really can't tell the difference. And it's up to the person to label it so you know. Like if they're the melanin form, like the melaniform, I guess it's called, like when they're all black, or when they're, or shadow as they're called a lot of times, like shadow emperor tetras, or the purple emperor tetras, or the orange emperor tetras, or the rainbow emperor tetras. Those are all, and albinos, those are all different kinds of actual legitimate morphs of the same species. But then you go outside of that and you look at something like the brilliant emperor, or the dwarf emperor, and those are different species that are being marketed that kind of look similar. Jacob Posilia, man, good to see you, man. And Memnarch, I probably butchered your name, I'm sorry. But Memnarch, hello, welcome. Zenith Maiden, what's up? Does anyone know where I can source spear or pintail guppies in the United States? Yeah, maybe. Let's see. I think Aquatic Arts might actually have some. They just got a whole new suite of stuff. And today is a great time to ask if you have ideas, or if you have questions about, like, hey, what happened to such and such fish, or who's got this or that? Because I have been shopping online for fish for you guys. I mean, for myself, for fun, but also for you guys, because I am so downsized in my aquariums now that I have like 3 tanks that I need to actually put some fish back in, or set up again, or, you know, re-aquascape, do something with. And I think it's going to end up for me being that I have mostly scape tanks or heavily planted tanks. And I've decided that I can't and I won't keep up with the high-tech aquascaping tank thing the way it stands. I can't clean the lily pipes every 2 weeks. That's ridiculous. I don't want to do it. I can't, you know, so there's fixes, there's workarounds, and I'll make a whole video about like the things that I've realized I don't care enough about. Like the fact that my rimless flame tank, as it's called, like I'm still going to grow it to the point where it looks like the thing I wanted to build in my head, which still has a couple months to go. But then I think I'm probably going to overhaul it and make it something way more sustainable that I don't have to trim every 2 or 3 days, spend an hour working on. Because at this point, I'm spending a half an hour to an hour. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm spending probably half an hour a day on that tank. And sometimes that means like every 3rd day I spend 3 hours, and then a half an hour, and then another day an hour. But I'm spending a lot of time on that tank, and I'm still wrangling with the algae. Part of that is that I just don't know the ADA system the way it is. And that's unfortunate. Like that, you know, I built it, the ADA substrate system, and I'll do another video on that once it's ran its course. I've already filmed myself. And that is something that I feel lately my output has been lower on the channel, and I feel like, hey, I'm really sorry to let you guys down on the sheer amount of content, because I have like hours and hours of footage of just the setting up the filter, me talking to the camera and being like, oh, these are things I like about the filter, these are things I don't like about the filter, here's how you set it up. then I watch, you know, the actual videos that are out, and I'm like, well, they've already done a tutorial on how to set up the filter. So I'll show it and I'll talk about how it works, but real quick. And then it's more about like what I like or don't like about it is the thing that is more probably useful. Everything else is like, you can just look it up. They've already done a great job. They spent 100 grand on marketing or, you know, whatever. I don't know what they spent, but, and so with these videos though, lately, a lot of them in the other tank, when I built that, I also used tourmaline. I used their power sand. I used their clear 100. I used their Bacter 100. I used their power visibility. All their products that they, their charcoal, I use all of it in the substrate. And what's funny is so much of it is stuff that I incorporate into my lasagna method, which is not, I'm not saying it's mine. I'm just saying it's how I became comfortable building planted tanks. You know, and it's kind of like the only thing that like Father Fish's method, for instance, is not his method other than if you buy his bag of stuff. It's a old way of saltwater aquarium, that, you know, the deep sand bed thing. That's just a way of keeping fish that some people do. There's limitations and there's upsides and downsides to any way that you're doing things, whether it's the lasagna way, the deep sand or Father Fish way, whatever. But once you get proprietary with it and you say you have to add this chemically active ingredient to the system, or I guess it could be a light or a filter, like you have to use this proprietary thing, that's when it becomes, yeah, ADA's system or Father Fish's system or whatever. And to me, there's some massive, I've dealt with over a few hundred emails from y'all telling me my plants are all dead in the Father Fish tank, and then later my fish all get sick at the 3-year mark or so, and the mulm starts to get rancid and smell bad if I dig around, and the fish kind of all get sick once in a while, and sometimes when I buy fish, they just randomly die. And it's something that I think has to do with the mix of the substrate in some cases, or at least one of the iterations. We'll talk about that another day. But my point being, I've been making these videos where I talk about the charcoal and how that works scientifically, and I film it and I spend an hour doing that, and then I'm like, why did I go so into it? And so I've been really trying to like analyze the process of me making stuff, and I'm coming up like realizing like I don't want to be redundant, and then I've been second guessing myself so much that I think I'm a little worried that I'm like, oh, they don't want to see that because I posted that in the lasagna video. And then I realize, Alex, that video is 4 years old or 3 years old at this point. You know, like what's the harm in revisiting, as long as you're not just making the same video with a different title, essentially. So there's been anyways, Prodigal Aquarius, good, fair point. And the answer to that is a lot of people have said that they've tried to get a hold of him, and what they get is they get somebody who is on his forum who's angry and mad that they're like questioning how things went, and they basically just say that something went wrong because the person's an idiot. That's not that's Father Fish's fault for putting those people in that role, but it's not him doing that necessarily. It's him who made the mix and who's making money off of it. So he and I, while we're still on like speaking terms and everything, we definitely had some falling out over his channel's rise, and also the selling of plants, which are just Florida Aquatic Nurseries and Waterscapes plants that are like he is doing a pretty fair deal on them, but I feel like you know, I can't lie. I have to speak the truth about people even if they've been on my show, and I've said like at one point like yeah. You know, and well, that's very kind, Jacob. I mean, I really do try to answer as many emails as I can. There's some people who hit me up with like a whole long, crazy paragraph with like 50 questions. And sometimes I'm like, I will get to that when I can. And then that day never comes. And so you actually are more likely to get a good answer out of me if you're like, my fish is sick. There's a picture of it. Here's when I got it. Here are my water parameters. What do I do? You know, something like that. Oh, hey, thank you so much. We got the first super chat of the day. Thank you so much. Thanks for chatting today, everyone. Really enjoy this community. You know what, Jan? I appreciate you so much. Ollie the pufferfish. I do appreciate all of you guys here. And I want to say that. I really do. Everybody who's here consistently, and those of you who pop in, I really appreciate you, especially, you know, anybody who's just like listening in their car and just who keeps kind of like a finger on the pulse of what's going on here. It means the world to me because, you know, I'm not always hitting them out of the park with thrilling content. I don't always have the money to build this or do that or travel there, this or that or the other. And sometimes I don't have the energy with all my health and personal stuff. But, you know, I do always care about the channel, and I do always interact with the community. If I am conscious and interacting with anyone, it's you guys, because you guys are my friends. You guys have become my world, whether it's locally here, other fish folks, or over around the world. People like Ivan Mikolji, you know, people like Jan, people like Bentley Pasco, you know, all sorts of people, like Kenny over at Danikin Aquatics and his wife. So many people that I met through this hobby that are great. And so many of you in the chat that I would call friends too. 4-year-old lasagna is definitely too old to eat. Yes, I would agree. But yeah, thank you so much, Jan. I really do appreciate it. You have been so incredibly supportive for so long that when I see that the most supportive people are the same people that are like the most on point with helping others in the community, giving advice, you know, just sharing pictures and, you know, other stuff too. Like it warms my heart, but I wish I wish I could just be like, no, it's all free for you guys. Like it's the people who you know, everyone else should just pay 10 cents. Like if I had 10 cents from 100,000 people who watch content, you know, we'd be where it's at. But obviously it doesn't work like that. Anyways, Alex, well, thank you. I hope, you know, I hope so. I hope we get, we do have cool we do attract, I should say, cool people here. I think we do. I think this community has stayed tight knit because it's really hardcore people. Like there's some people who watch that may not even have tanks, but they're really into either the science or the storyline of like what madness has gone on in my life or something or other, you know, or just feeling like there's someone who's going through some of the crap. So, you know, sometimes I apologize for sharing so much of my personal life, like the anecdote about the birds and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, no, I don't apologize because, you know, I feel like we need a little bit of humanity mixed in with the dry science and stuff. Otherwise, you go Google it and, you know, go to Google Scholar. I've made videos about how you can go research it. You don't need me. I have videos. I came and I talked at Shindig or at Findig in Sacramento, and my entire talk was called "Don't Trust Me, I'm a YouTuber," and it was about like why we should teach all kids, all adults, everyone, like how to fact check stuff, how to go look at the original source. And while we don't all have time to do that, it's important that you do it a few times with a few key things in any genre so that you can find the other people who have done the same. Once you find those people, usually they have a pretty good track record of continuing such things, or at least having the spirit in the right place, even if they get things wrong here or there. So yeah. Kent AJDK says, today you are on fire. It's great laying here just listening to you. Oh, I appreciate that, man. It's always good to have you here as well. You know, again, another name in the chat that I always see for years, and I'm like, right on. We're in familiar territory. Radina, good to see you. You've been trying to find the like button. You know, they move all the crap on this. The comment section got hidden again. Like, it's, you have to like scroll on mobile, and there's like these hype points, and I don't even know what the hell any of that is. I should be knowing. I signed up for this thing that's like, you're a creator with over 100,000, which means we care about you. And then it's an AI bot that, like, when I was like, oh, thanks, because I got it, like a message popped up on YouTube, and I was like, I didn't know there was a chat on YouTube. It was as if there was a comment thread in a video I was watching that just popped up, and it was like, hey, Alex, we really value you here. My name's Frederick, or, I don't remember what the made up name was, but it was a freaking bot. And they're like, we really care, and we want you to, what they really want me to do, one, is buy ads, or rather buy, promote my content. So they want me to give back like a third of whatever I make to them. They want to just take it before they have to write me the check, and then they'll actually let my content reach where it should. They've literally now shown how they throttle it. And I was thinking about making an episode on it, and I still might, but I've got the evidence. And I'm not going to go, don't worry, we'll go back to looking at Moonlight Aquatics in just a moment. So if you're watching this in the future and you're like, I just want to see what you would recommend coming in this spring, that like what's hot, what's circling the pond, what's on point, what's trending. But what I was going to say is, I also had this whole side. I must be getting life ADD, like not just like ADD momentarily, but like, is ADD a thing when you just take like freaking a day to do something, and then the next day you do something completely different and don't finish the damn thing that you were working on, but you like manic enough that you didn't like sleep? That's been my life for months, ever since I've had these problems and been on these steroids and antibiotics and all the crap they got me on the chemo drugs too, the methotrexate that I hate, makes me feel like dried garbage. By the way, we're gonna get there today, because I don't care if it takes all day, but we're gonna cover it. But Aquatic Arts has some on point guppy colonies right now, and they're guppy hybrids. They've got these lace platinum, purple or blue and white, and they almost look black and white, but yeah, they're real cool. But what I was going to show you, the real thing, was this data. So when you look at someone like Father Fish's channel, his subscribers show up like this. Come on, show up. Well, if you could read that, it would say 1,000, and it's peak 1,000 at midnight. Gee golly, it does it by the week on Social Blade. You can look these things up, and it does it by how many subscribers you get in a week. And it's, gee golly, on 1 week, right at midnight, he got 1,000, and then none for 3 weeks, and then he got another 1,000 subscribers in a night. And so you'll see these patterns that look just like this. An organic pattern of growth should look like this. You have a video that hits it out of the park, boom. And that is like Lucas Brett's. That's LRB Aquatics, as an example, a good example of a channel like my size. And, sometimes you hit it out of the park, other times you don't. But I was just laughing at some channels that are just, look at that. It's so obvious. Now, there's also people who are sneaky and really do buy views and likes and stuff. And it does then cause their video to look more popular. But now they are completely training they're completely training the algorithm to work independent of whether anybody clicks like, dislike, subscribe or not. The new wave of thinking that is absolutely terrifying and mind-blowing, and Meta started this, and then TikTok used it too, and now YouTube is admitting that they're using some of this, or that they're funding some of this research, which means they're going to use it. And they said this in a letter to creators, because I get a creators letter every month, and then now that I'm over 100,000 subscribers, they give me another letter that's like, "Ooh, we really want you to do well because you can make more money for us," basically. And so they built, out of 7,000 people that they studied, that were just average Americans, all ages, all genders, races, identities, politics, across the board. They had 7,000 some people, 7,029 people or whatever it was. They put them all a total of like 50 hours under the brain monitoring electrocap thing, and an EKG, and the like seeing their sweat, their heart rate, their pulse, their blood oxygen level, CO2 level. Some of them in an even more confined study were actually monitored for their cortisols and their various hormone releases in their blood in real time. Like every 10 minutes, they'd take a little sample. Crazy. Like, this is really, really intense stuff. And what they were doing was they were looking for the stuff in the brain. So this is, and then they took an MRI and they did the same thing, and they showed them shorts, and they were watching to see what parts of the brains were lighting up for like fish content, for pet content, for fashion content, one by one, section by section. And they'd show them like an hour of each thing at a time, and they'd watch their brain watching these things, and then they'd put ads in, and they'd either make them skippable or not. And basically they were able to either skip or not certain ads, and they'd see how frustrated people got. Some people had the ability in one of the studies to click away. This is actually in the neuroscience, behavioral neuroscience journal just recently. Some had the ability to go watch a different genre. And those people then it was like monitored, like what was it, how much time had passed, or how much stress, or how many times did that part of their cortex, that little specific area of their frontal cortex, did it have lit up electric signals or activity, and what was their cortisol level when they finally said, "I quit, I'm going to pick something else to watch." And so they found that no matter what people said they wanted to watch, and no matter what people liked versus didn't like hitting the like button or the heart button, or thumbs up or thumbs down, or 1 through 10 rating, they did all sorts of studies. And this is bigger than like Meta or Google. This is like firms that those people pay, that they both are working on the results of. And so this is like scary, but it's open for you to read about. And so what they were looking for at the end of the day was, they found that the amount of dopamine hits, basically the amount of times the brain had the same pattern that showed for a successful reward. So if somebody had a reward, and in life, it could be as simple as reaching for a cup of water, you get that reward feedback because your body's like, yes, I wanted that cup, I wanted the water in it, and I got it to my mouth without spilling, and it gives you a little bit of dopamine. When you like someone and you finally get their phone number, or go on a date or whatever, you get that, yes, like I wanted that, because you logically have it. So there's like the kind you don't logically think about necessarily, like it's just neurological, kind of like breathing and stuff. We have those reflexes. And then we have the ones that you think about. Well, they don't care, it turns out, about the ones you think about. At the end of the day, what matters is your dopamine and your serotonin, essentially, and your cortisol. Those are the 3 things that really matter. And they made an AI version of the brain. This is the scary part, guys. They made an AI version of a brain that averaged all 7,000 brain scan inputs that were hours and hours and hours of 3D data. And then using an entire processing facility in Texas that the facility, like they said they had to use the entire AI server thing. Like they had to use the whole thing. It has a name, like the actual computer. It's like a supercomputer. They built a model of a brain and they ran shorts through it, and they could predict which shorts were going to go viral pretty accurately and which ones weren't. And they had that info, and then they had the info of what videos, which they could also pretty accurately predict within. And it was like give or take 20% difference, which sounds like a big margin of error, and it is for things, but this is like, we're only going to get better at this, guys. They're only going to get better at knowing what you like before you even know what you like, or feeding you a IV of shorts, like rather than you intentionally sitting down and picking a topic for an hour where your attention raises and falls and has a natural flow, like a conversation a little bit. They want you to just go bam, 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 have these reactions. And then they don't care if you're annoyed, if you're mad, if it's rage scrolling or rage bait or whatever, as long as you're on their ecosystem. They don't care if you're multitasking, if you're listening to that and you're driving instead of like you're not watching it, then they just know to run audio ads. So what they had did is they built this fake brain AI modeling thing, and Meta was the first one to do it and admit it and be like proud of it basically. But they said that they're not even going by thumbs up, thumbs down, whether people liked it or didn't like it, or comment engagement. They literally let the fake brain of the 7,029 individuals average. They let that decide, and they averaged it half deciding based on how rewarding it was chemically to the brain neurologically, and the other half was whatever maxed out the amount of time you'd sit through ads and not content. Now, the variable they learned there too is the content that is an ad, like in a podcast, like where they don't control it, where they have a sponsor where they're speaking about it and it's not skippable like that. That's where they're going to go. And so it's important for you to know in our genre, but more so in your main life, it's going to start being that every little thing that communicators and creators online are doing is suspect to be brand placement and ad, because it's at a certain point you just can't show people more ads or they'll stop using your ecosystem. They'll go to TikTok or whatever. But if you put a scrolling ad on the bottom and a pop-up ad up top, and the person has one ad that they read, so you feel like it's a different vibe, this is how they're doing it. They have a link to the store to buy the thing where the ad's at. But for me, what's frustrating is that it's not about making a better experience anymore. It's just greed. Like, it's not about having the best YouTube. And it started as a place to share videos and to host videos. And I know they had profit in mind, but it's now completely, that's completely profit when those are the only variables they're caring about, really. So anyways, we'll get back to Moonlight here. I just had to rant about that because I saw that, and then I got talked to by YouTube's creator lady, bot, that basically contacted me and was like, we want you to go to our institute. Like, we'll send you merch from YouTube. You can get a hoodie, and you can get a hard drive to edit videos on the go, and a hotspot, and a Wi-Fi card. And it was all stuff that would be helpful for a creator. But it was like, you can have all this stuff if you agree to sign up to be one of our whatevers. And they also had me sign up, just so you know, I signed up for YouTube education, and we don't know where that's going to go. We hope that it's a free system that YouTube gives out to get tax cuts to schools. That's the way it works in Canada right now and a couple other countries. And so my content wouldn't get viewed. I wouldn't get a cut of I get 1/10,000th of a penny for every view I get on this video, right? Or for every ad seen. And I get to keep that. If you have YouTube Premium, I get like whatever it is, one or two 10,000th of a penny, or some, you know, some arbitrary amount that they made up. That means that every view you still get something, but it might not be as good as from the people from everybody, or it might be better. I mean, just depends on the genre like that you're making content for. But yeah, now for education, I said like they can watch it for free. I'm okay with 30 kids watching a video for free. If the teacher really wants to use my content, it will even use AI to help make sheets for them to like work with their class and have like, you know, watch this playlist or video. And I was like, that's pretty cool. If anybody thinks that highly of it and wants to, like, I hope, you know, they're vetting me and checking everything, because, you know, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. So yeah. I just saw Jeff's very, very kind super chat here. Thank you, man. Work on your health, and when you're ready, I will sponsor a flight from Wisconsin for an event. That is really, really kind of you. That really is. And you can bet when I am able to fly again, I'm hoping that's this summer or maybe early fall at the latest. I want to put my feet in a river so freaking bad. You guys, I have cried and just felt lost, not being able to walk in nature, not being able to get off the goddamn pavement. I have to go on paved paths, and I can walk like 2 or 3 feet on uneven, you know, soil or grass or whatever. But if my wheelchair or my scooter, my knee scooter, doesn't get me there, I haven't been able to go there. And it's been 1.5 years, and I feel literally like I'm losing my grasp on nature. I'm getting fat, which, like, that sucks for a myriad of reasons, between health and between, you know, just the whole, hey, fatty, why are you so fat? You know, that whole angle of things. But no, really, it's more of a like, I want to lean over and grab this thing and like, oh, I'm so stiff, or I can't bend that way anymore. Like, and getting older is also part of that process, and getting hit by lightning also speeds that up. But it's like, I will be so ready to get back out. I was so crushed when the like dozen things I had on the board of events to go do I had to cancel them. I had to tell everyone I had to cancel them. And then again, for like Atlanta and for Sacramento, not that I was speaking, but I was going to go. But even beyond just Sacramento, I mean, there was speaking back in March that I couldn't do for, you know, for St. Louis, that I had like told them 1.5 years earlier, like, I would love to. Then 1 year comes up the event comes up. And then so a whole year came up again that I still couldn't do it. And when that happened, guys, I almost quit YouTube. I almost lost it and just said, I'm not relevant. I'm irrelevant. Nobody needs to hear what I have to say. Like, I felt so hopeless. So I really do appreciate you guys bearing with me, and also allowing me to do these like kind of long, rambly live streams sometimes. I do appreciate it. On these live streams, you guys are going to get stuff that nobody who watches just the video uploads has any idea about. And I kind of keep it that way on purpose. Like, I want it to be that way, in that like y'all get to know me for real. You know, you get to know like what's really going on, and also maybe you'll pick up some tidbits of interesting stuff. I don't know, like maybe that interests you, that how Facebook is now hoping to model their algorithm for shorts, not on what you like or dislike or click on or don't click on, but completely based on what an AI brain, synthetic brain thinks. Also, by the way, I saw that Kent AJDK renewed membership. I appreciate it, man. I know you were a member since back in the day. So when it says new member, I'm like, what? What gives? I thought you was a member, man. But I really do appreciate that. Membership means so much to me. Again, I know I've slowed down a bit, but I am constantly filming and creating stuff and thinking of stuff and writing stuff down. Lately, I've just not been executing and pulling the trigger on putting it all together in a finished form. But I have all these things that are like getting there, or I'll work on, and then, there's other things like, for instance, I've already done it because I know that showing you guys under the microscope what's in my brand new Aquascape tank, that you guys wouldn't want to have seen that video when it was a month old. So that's something where, like, I want to show you guys the baseline of like water in an aquarium that is planted, like the little things you see, like hydra and stuff that comes in on the plants within the first month. So I've filmed all that. And now I have an hour or two of footage of really sparse microscopy. And then I have one of a 10-year-old planted tank. And I have my old footage from other videos too. But, that's the kind of thing where then I know once it's 5 months old or 4 months old, then I make that video. It's much more interesting because then we've got all the different life forms and things that have made themselves visible, or at least swabbable, so that we can find them under a slide. It makes for a way better video too, to have that context. But again, it takes time to space all that out and to have that. In the past, I've just spoken and done things without having the actual footage. And now that I've kind of taken more time to edit this channel, and under my own pressure, no pressure from any of you, obviously, but like the pressure I tell myself, like, you need to step up the editing game and whatnot. I tell myself, like, I don't want to just talk at the screen for 10 minutes. I want to have on the screen a interesting video or interesting facts. Like, let's pack these full of more content. So hopefully, I'm making less content, but it's better. I can always go back to just making a lot of content if you prefer, I suppose, too. But yes, let's see here. Passing Wind, what's up? Good to see you. Kent, thank you, dude. Thank you again also. Really, I appreciate it. Those are Danish, Denmark, or kroners. Is that what did that I appreciate it. I'm just always trying to remember which abbreviations or acronyms are for which currencies. But thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate it. You guys I don't expect anything other than your undying loyalty. Suicidal ideation for the good of fishdom would be something, that I wouldn't approve of. We don't need a suicidal fish loyalty cult. We don't need a plenums or bust cult. Are you freaking kidding me? There's a different species of bird altogether building a new nest on a different beam in my carport. It's like a finch of some sort. Are you freaking kidding me? What? Why are the birds? Why? See, you miss things like me slowly losing my mind. over the birds. Let's see here. Oh yeah, like before you leave. That's very nice. Leave it the way, you should leave things like when you go camping, leave it the way you found it, but like pretend you found it liked. So leave it liked. Or exactly the opposite. Don't leave it the way you found it, unliked. Let's see here. The boy, how do you say? Is this De Boy? De Boy? De Bo? De Boy? I don't know how to say that. De Boy, Iowa? De Book? De Buck? Man, I'm bad. I'm bad. That name I'm probably butchering. Emma Hotman, what's going on? Also, hello. Let's see here. This reminds me of an early 80s movie called Liquid Sky. It reminds me of one called Network and then Videodrome, which are both. Network is a good one. I would recommend everybody watch that. But Videodrome is a freaking weird one that I don't know that I'd recommend. You need to like Eraserhead and like Twin Peaks and that kind of stuff. Blue Velvet. Basically David Lynch. You need to like David Lynch if you're gonna watch Videodrome. Or like Brazil, that movie. Let's see here. Running through the chat. Sorry, we'll get back to Moonlight soon, I swear. I swear. Also, did I miss? No. Okay. Doom scroll by design. Yes, I like that. Girl 88, what's up? Good to see you. Bambi McCluskey. Yeah, I like what you're saying, Bambi. The whole thing I was saying about the ads and stuff. We just need to buy less. Yes, less consumption, more doing things. All of us, like you guys, are all doing things in your aquarium, of course. So I think it's great that you guys are producing, or at least interactive. You're witnessing, you're absorbing, you're observing, critically thinking, and then responding. Whether you're breeding or whether you're just growing plants or habitat, whatever it may be. So much better than just passively consuming. And I do feel like the world has tried to split us into more and more consumers and creators, and the people who control the creation are getting more and more concentrated. So they're getting more and more money and more control and say over what gets created. And that's going to impact even those of y'all, no one here really that I'm talking to, who's just sitting there being drip fed all this crap. But yeah, let's see here. Moneyless Maven, I still love that name. Oh, Jeff gave me another $10. Jeez. Florida collecting trip, October 2027. Dates are not set yet, but there will be an event that same weekend. Keep an eye out for an official date. Right on, dude. Oh, man, I also like the Cahaba River and Alabama, Tennessee border region, Kentucky somewhat too, Mississippi. But I mean, man, the Cahaba River, like Montgomery, what I wouldn't give to go snorkel down there, like especially this time of year, honestly. Christina, thank you so much for your kind words. I'm glad I didn't quit either. Isopod update. Yeah, so I couldn't get any isopods the other day out of the pond, and I was like really scared / frustrated / just kind of like, what gives? Where'd they all go? How'd they die too? Like FML, of course, this is my life. And then I just waited till nighttime and threw a couple leaves in the pond. And around 11 p.m., I went back out, and there were like 2 or 3 on the edge of the tank, on the edge of the pond. And I was like, okay, well, there's still some, but there were scuds everywhere. So I was like, man, these scuds are out of control, and they're eating the mosquito eggs, or the mosquito larvae as eggs, I think, because I don't see any mosquito larvae in the tubs that have scuds. The tubs without scuds are full of mosquito larvae and mayfly larvae, like just different kinds of insect larvae. And my fish love all that, but I don't have that many fish anymore. So now I'm realizing, like, oh, I should probably not. Like, I could probably put a screen over most of these things. But the isopods, I went back out again later at night at like 4 in the morning, and then looked around the pond, and there were like, I think I got 20 or 30 that time, which is still not, like, for a while I was able to get 100 or so any night that I put, like, I'd put an algae wafer in there or something and put it in the corner, and they would come to it, and I'd have that many, like, from one go, and I could maybe even get a few more from another thing. And so I wasn't worried about it all. I just kept harvesting them, using them, feeding them to fish, putting them in tanks. Well, they do seem to not necessarily thrive in tanks like they do in the wild with fish. I mean, I think fish make them shy, which just makes them stressed, which makes them have less babies. And I think in good conditions, they have a lot more babies. They have a lot more resources that they can gather and eat all day and whatnot. But I think they kind of shut down and just hide in the substrate a lot of times in fish tanks where there's a lot of activities. And ironically, nanofish hunt them worse than other fish. And it's fish like gobies, or like the little freshwater bumblebee gobies, and the like Stiphodon gobies. Those things just decimate them. But I'm going to go out there again tonight and try to see if I can collect more, and like see that now that I put 100 aside, can we get another 100 tonight, or do I only see 50 tonight? So I am actually on the isopod front, kind of seeing how much the pond is creating still, because my indoor tanks, I did a boo-boo. So I had a tank that I was just growing, and you guys know I had that heat spike thing. Well, in this tank, they had just kept eating duckweed, anything I put in there, anything and everything. They'd eat it, and they'd turn it to mulm, and it would go to the bottom of the tank. Then they'd eat the mulm, and they had all these tunnels like an ant farm all throughout it, and you could shine a light, and you could see them on the side of the glass in the tunnels, which was really cool. But I forgot to keep putting food in there, I guess, because there's just like none in there in the main tank that I had them in. So unless it got too hot up there and that killed them, I feel like they're tougher than that. But I think I did the boo-boo and didn't feed them enough. I feel like a jerk. But that's what happened. If you're not in Washington, you can order from Aquahuna. Yeah, Aquahuna is all right. They're kind of like a lot of big importers. They buy things from overseas. Some of their suppliers really good, others not as good. They don't quarantine. They just flip things as quick as they can. That's one of the main things. That's why. Let me put it this way. Aquarium Co-op had a deal with Aquahuna. He had some issues with, I think, their customer service side of things is what the word around town was. But I don't care what his issue was. He kind of just stopped mentioning it and moved more towards Dan, and then towards Imperial, which I'm like, what in the, like, the fact that we've said the same creators or the same breeders and farmers and resellers online are the same. Like, we agree that Corey and I, we've followed the same people. Like we recommended now each 4 places at the same time where I've said it first and then he also said it. And it's not, he's probably not watching my channel to know. I think we both just have similar taste in like what a good company looks like in, you know, in this space. But it's just like uncanny and frustrating because then like, you know, anyways, but he does not stand with Aquahuna anymore. So I don't know what that says. It says something, and I had Aquahuna's owners come to me and say, we would love you to come. Like, we will, like, since you're local, we'll give you whatever fish you want. You can have whatever display you want. We'll set you up with like a 200-gallon tank and the coolest fish. We'll get you stingrays, like whatever I wanted. Like, they were really, really jazzed because my neighbor Sushi, who you guys have met a couple times or seen in videos a couple times, he's an Indian dude, Dot, not the feather, and he's Punjab, and his dad was their accountant for some time. So they know each other really well, and he, I guess the owner came over for dinner with my neighbor's father and family. And he was like, yeah, if your neighbor's a YouTuber that's into fish, like tell him I want to talk to him. So that's how we ended up getting linked up. But we had already talked because he had already asked years ago if I had an interest. And my problem was, one, there is a little bit of a language barrier between a lot of the employees and the customer service and like stuff that goes on. So that's a little hard. That wouldn't be a deal breaker, but that's one thing that's just like not ideal. Then there's the fact that I don't think their prices are crazy good or crazy bad, but I do find that they're fair. But that sometimes if things are like cheap, it's because like they're very young or very emaciated fish. It's not that they're just a good deal that they happen to score usually. Like they seem to know the market really well as far as like how they price. Like whereas Moonlight, sometimes he just says, I'm not going to make a 3-fold markup, even though that's what's supposed to keep the lights on. I'm going to sell more of this fish. And so it'll clear out quicker, and I want them in the hobby, and I'm only going to make double profit, you know, or whatever, you know, which is wild to me, that he has that mindset, you know, or the other mindset of Imperial, like I won't do any sales. I'm not cutting any advertising deals with anybody, but we're going to take that 50 grand we would have put on advertising, and we're going to say that's money we don't need to earn. So we can take, you know, that much of a loss in sales, which is, you know, these top selling fish can be cheaper by this much, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, where are we? Although being in Jackson, oh, everybody, yeah. Oh, right, yeah, it's late. Good night, my friend. Get some sleep if you're even still here. All right, let's see who else is still here. Heaven, what's up? You made it. It's good to see you. Oh, I'm like 10 minutes behind on chat. Okay. What's the ideal setup for a thriving 10-gallon setup for a thriving scud colony? Honestly, I would do a bunch of duckweed with an air stone. They do need oxygenated water, or they like it, but the duckweed is something that will kind of keep the heat in, and they do tend to kind of like pretty warm tanks, like 80 degrees, and just that like stagnant, rotting plant stuff. Now, they don't want a bunch of ammonia, so it needs to be cycled as well. But they love to eat like just rotten plants. They also like to eat the buds on really fresh plants, really delicate little plants. So, you know, the best scud tanks I've had are basically a shrimp tank, and then add maybe an air stone if you didn't already have something bubbling in the shrimp tank. And then basically add either algae wafers or allow algae to grow. If algae can grow in the tank, but nitrates are low, that's ideal. They don't want, like, nitrates are still not good for most little life forms, but the conditions that allow for that have co-evolved, so that they do like that environment. Bird robots are watching you. Yes, I know they are. I know. Dubuque. Oh, I know that name now. It's Dubuque, Idaho. Isn't it Iowa? Anyways. The Coro. Whoa. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm yelling right into the microphone. Ow. Good to see you, Coro. Network is one of my favorite movies. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it. Yeah, right? And everyone's yelling out the window, which is also like in Ukraine when they got their democracy back, essentially. Was that 08 or something? Everyone was outside with banging pots and pans together. And Iran, other places now, they do that too when they protest. Everyone bangs pots and pans out the window and they yell the same things in unison. But it kind of came from that movie, Network, where he's a newscaster and he basically says, like, stop watching your TV. Like, we're just feeding you mindless stuff to make you dumber and more docile and consume more, and tell them that you're not gonna do it. Turn off your TV and yell out your window. I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it. So every time this guy would come on, everyone would do that in the movie. Pretty fun. Guys, my throat is a little bit raw. I'm gonna take a throat coat breath mint thing. Carlos, hello, my friend. Coro, I wish I could have just given you that membership, but thank you for joining. I appreciate it, buddy. Man, I didn't know that I could. I wish I could just give so many. Like, they should just give you a membership at the lowest level, at least, if you watch, I don't know, 10 hours a year or something, something. When you said scuds, I thought you meant you could sell them to farmers for runoff and ditches to control. Oh, maybe. I don't know if they've tried. They probably tried looking into that. They've done a lot for mosquito control. I don't know that it's like really effective or in all climates or what cases, but yeah. Yeah, Jeff. I personally have been friends with like 20 aquarium co-op employees over the years. I've known a lot of I've known every manager of the actual store. I've been friends with like half the employees. He hires good people. Good people also quit and leave there from time to time too. He's also a good businessman. So I get that being a fish store, he tries. But I mean, the thing is, at a certain point, when you get these quality people for a window of their life working in your fish store, it's great. And your reputation and name can help you at a certain point. And just being a part of that makes people excited. And, that's great. But at the same time, you can't afford to live in Seattle, even if he was paying $30 an hour and all the benefits to everyone. People have to do something realistically at some point that might not be that. So there is a lot of coming and going in any fish shop. And people were pretty loyal. I went over some radfish. We're about to go over more. Sorry. Okay, we're about to go over more right now, in fact. I'm done. I'm caught up. I'm done yelling. Okay. I didn't hear. Was there a spray made from mosquitoes? Oh, yeah, there is that. There is a spray that they also release sterile mosquitoes in Panama. The U.S. breeds 50 billion, I think it is. You can check these numbers, but I think it's 50 billion a year. Maybe it's 5 billion. I don't know. For some reason, 50 billion is what's in my head. 50 billion, it's a lot. It's like bigger than like Walmart, like a super centers that are set up to be for breeding mosquitoes, just so they can sell them, or not sell them, but give them to governments in Panama and Colombia and parts of the world and the Caribbean, and they breed them sterile so that they hybridize with the other mosquitoes that are native and more vicious and bitey, and then in the hopes that they will have a less voracious type in the long run. Okay, let's talk about these fish. Real video starts at, what time is it in the video? An hour and 40 minutes in. Wow. Yeah, Bill Gates did the mosquito research. Some of it anyways. Yeah, you only make $14.50 and you feel like minimum wage again after inflation. I hear you, man. I get it. The last job I got paid for, I was making $16 an hour. I got hired at $8 an hour. And I had benefits though. And they cut my benefits, and then the minimum wage in Seattle became $15 an hour, and I was making 16. And so these kids were getting hired with full benefits, making $15 an hour, and I was like, man, that sucks. Working at Trader Joe's doing murals, like that's all I'm making. $1 more after 6 years of loyalty or whatever to them. At that point, 6.5, 7 years. And the first round, every 6 months there, you can actually get a 60-cent raise, or annually for $1.20, depending on the store. And then Seattle changed it to $20 an hour, and I was like, forget this, I quit. And I just started working for myself as a mural artist full time, because I'd been hit by lightning and I was having other issues anyways. Anyhow, you got some fish from AquaForest. Interesting. Gave you a shout out, Rio, your CO2 tank. Knock on wood. Always have great luck with their fish. Right on. That's rad. Heaven, I appreciate that, man. I love, if people give a shout out. I know they're not like I said, they're not paying me or like saying, oh, you have to do this, that, or the other. They're totally hands off. They're like, yeah, do your thing. And yeah, AquaForest has great plants. I mean, they're the first people that worked with ADA in the entire US. They're great. The two brothers, they're rad. I really have enjoyed working with them. All that being said, I'm not sold on if you had to say dollar for dollar, am I gonna buy an ADA filter versus a Fluval FX6 or FX4 or even a 308 or 307 or something? No. Unless you got plenty of money and the money's not gonna make or break your situation, and for you, money is no, unless you're making like $100,000 a year or more, I would not buy certain ADA stuff, because it's more of a fashion choice at that point. Now, most of their stuff's like decently built also, which is good. But I'd say like with Apple, they're a good example of someone who builds stuff pretty well, but you can't really like modify it or do anything on your own with it. By design, everything's proprietary, and you can't repair stuff very well without like proprietary this or that, or somebody who has a hack on those ways and systems. And in that sense, that's frustrating. And I think that when you buy an Apple product, it kind of gets you into their world. And ADA is kind of the same, where they want you to use their FERTs and this, that, or the other. But you can selectively come in and use their world. You can use their aqua soil and not use all the additives and not use their glass. You can still buy a UNS or AquaTop or whatever it is, Mr. Aqua. I don't remember which of those is still around. Rimless low iron tank. And the fact that all the size and proportions and all that has basically been established by ADA, and it's all copying them or at least emulating them. I think it's cool that they exist, and it's kind of like, it's the driving a McLaren. It's not even like driving a Ferrari, because driving a Ferrari, you could argue that like the money kind of goes into it so that you can have a true driving machine or something. It's like driving one of the high-end Ferraris, where it's like, yeah, you're just going 0.02 miles per hour faster, and you just paid $300,000 more for it. And then, or you got your name stitched in the seat for another $40,000 or whatever. And it's like, if you like it, great. If you like it and you got the money for it. But if you were looking for the value proposition, other than supporting the company that has created so many firsts and or kind of brought this world of the industrial design, minimalist, kind of German or Scandinavian design, aquarium or scientific test tube and wood, steel, and glass, that world of getting rid of the barriers and trying to use more organic materials and less plastic and stuff like that. If you want to pay homage to that, you can support the brand, and in doing so, I would say there is a value to that, and it keeps them going. And they do support, demos and booklets and pamphlets and interesting stuff out there in the hobby. But I just don't think it's, you're not getting like, oh yeah, I'm going to really get my money's worth there. So I'm going to spend it just because of the value. And that's something that I hope they don't get mad that I say, but that's the truth. That's really the truth. Somebody says iPhones are not worth the money. People literally buy them as a flex. You might say that. Here in Seattle, literally, it's not it's not a flex at all. The average person needs to make $79,000 a year in Seattle to live. The poverty level here is 42,000. The country, it's 17,000. Wherever you live, 17,000, you ain't living off that. That's nothing. That's crazy. But here, yeah, it's 42. And that number's preposterous anyways. But, so in Seattle, no, it's not a flex to have an iPhone or even, whatever your car. There's so much money that exists in Seattle. There's also so much just average people. And it's crazy that we get by / don't just drive across town and burn down all of the east side of Seattle's suburbs. But I would say that, yes, iPhones may cost 50% more, and some of the functionality is unique to the iPhone. So in that sense, you get something that is a tangible, like measurable value. And a lot of times it's like the Samsung Galaxies versus the or the Pixel, Google Pixels. It's like those phones versus the Apple phones, the iPhone. And I think it's kind of neck and neck a lot of years, except for the Apple ones tend to cost like 20 or 30% more on average than those. But they cost like 50% more than comparable, no-name Android phones and stuff. Maybe even more than that. And that's where, like what you're saying, yeah, you're buying a brand and a vibe rather than that. Um, I wouldn't feel discounted to not have ADA products. Some people are just that devoted, so it's kind of fascinating, that level of devotion. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, it is amazing to see. Hey, Kenny, we were just talking about you, bro. I was just. Oh wait, I'm not even on the stage at all right now. I thought you guys could see me. I've been here waving and making dumb faces that didn't matter apparently. But what I was gonna say is, am I even on here? Do that. Yeah. Okay. There we go. But yeah. Oh, the new iPhone camera. See, that is something that I think is constantly getting pushed further. And also, the software to work the camera. Low light, high megapixel, speed. Those kind of things. So I do think that there is a utility in supporting iPhone because it pushes the envelope of what is possible in the entire field. Because then Samsung or Sony or whoever makes their version and it comes out, and it might be a little bit cheaper or whatever, but it comes out and they try to push some aspect of it like that farther and farther. So I think the competition overall is good in a capitalist sense. That's what I have to say. But what's up, Kenny? I was just saying how much it meant to me that I know the community, that I know you, that I know you've been a member for freaking ever. I think you're like the longest, but how so many of you in the chat are like real people in real life that I'm friends with. So I don't feel like I'm just quote unquote talking to my internet friends, like, and how much I value that in our community. And I was fearing at one point in the last year, and I still do a little bit, like, man, I've only posted 3, videos in a month at one point. Like I think last month I posted 3 or 4. And I know a lot of channels only post that many and don't do any live streams, and that's just that. But I've always posted so much, and you guys know what I'm capable of cranking out when I'm doing it 30 or 40 hours a week. And the truth is, I just haven't had it in me to also do this stuff 30 or 40 hours a week, maybe 20. And I've been doing fish stuff in the sense of reading and stuff, but I haven't been approaching every article I read like I need to take notes because maybe I'll use this. And because of that, I feel like I'm still fairly plugged in with the scientific end of like new fish species and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily know whose channels around, or like the Dr. Tim scandal. I was kind of like, whoa, that's wild when I heard about that. There's a lot of things that happen that are not necessarily crucial or at all relevant to the existence of the hobby, but on YouTube you would know if you're active in the community online. And so I was just saying that I love that, like, I don't even have to hear all that noise necessarily. And I can still talk to you guys as like true friends, and that support from true friends that I know will be there, like when I can get my scattered brain together, or if I'm just not up to it to do certain things. You guys have always been so supportive of giving me the space and time. And so I know everybody who hears this has paid more than their fair share of supporting the channel, of being members, all that kind of stuff. And I want to thank you. I wish, like I said, that I could make it so that all y'all only had to give $1, and just your time here is what means the most to me. Because it really does. Your time does mean the most to me. Granted, I couldn't do it without the money, but you guys do keep the lights on too. Okay, so let's talk. You're going to be in a stream tomorrow with Mexicali. Cool. I'll have to try to watch that. What time is that? Over 5 years now. Where has the time gone? Dude, 67 months. That is insanity. That is so wild. You know, I was just thinking about the first time you did Fishtoberfest, and I was like, was that before or after? And I can't remember. Was that before or after COVID had hit? But I know I've known you since 2016 or 17. We met for the first time in person, or I've known of you and said hey online kind of thing. And then in 2019 for sure, or 18, we met at a GA. And ever since then, it's been, you know, wedded bliss with Kenny G. um, so, yeah. But 67 months, man, that is freaking insane. You blow my mind in that I mean, that's like almost that's closer to 6 years. That's wild. Wild. Thank you so much. Really, I do. Okay, let me get back. And Good Gamer Aquatic says it's all about functionality percentile. The 20% to 40% upcharge versus the competitors' improvements. Sure, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. You know, the thing that I hate about Apple in particular, I'll say this last thing before we get back to finishing up looking at some fish, is that it's ridiculous that they charge you guys $3 a month, $2.99 to be a member of this channel when I charge $1.99, and I actually selected 99 cents, and it's like then it has like a slide rule and it would give me like $1.07 or whatever it said I'd be making. They take their cut and I have to, you know, pay taxes or whatever. And then the Apple adds $1 or 30% on every transaction of anything on their ecosystem. And so nobody should become a member or pay for a monthly app or like Discord or, you know, I don't know, Clash of Clans, you know, whatever it is. Don't pay through the iTunes store. They will add 30%. Some apps have the luxury of deciding to take that chunk out of their actual price and just forfeiting the profit and thinking that being on the app store makes it worth it. But a lot of them don't or / wouldn't, and they're still on the app store, and it's just 30% more for no reason. So always go to the source if you're an iPhone user or if you're using the iTunes store to buy stuff. Okay, back to Moonlight Aquatics finally. You know, the place that has the zebra plecos for $150. You get that on sale. It's $135. Fishery 10. That's insane. He's out of the babies right now, but he does have. Oh, never mind. What? Wait, what is going on here? Oh, excuse me, you guys. You can get the 2-inch plus, which right now most of them are like 3 inches. I think they've been sitting there a little bit. You can get that. You can even pay on layaway. You can make 4 installments, $14.99, which actually would be less. It'd be like, I don't know, $11.99. 11. No, it'd be like $11 for 4 easy payments. That's funny. Through the is that PayPal shop or something? I don't know, whatever. But yeah. $159, and then you get 10% off that if you add the fishery 10, and that's all caps 10 fishery 10. And he's got these 2-inch beauties. He's also got leopard frogs and L333s and super whites. He still had some of the super whites last I saw, but I was excited about these. Oh, so excited. I think, I don't know, I was deciding for the fire tank, and I was like, it doesn't really make sense to have the the snowball one or the peppermint ones. He's got all these mini hyphen citrus that they get like only 2 inches or 3 inches, and are just adorable. But I want to get something that's gonna clean the food that gets missed by my other critters. Also, he's got these right now, which are real. They're from Peru. He actually has them in shop. Here's an actual picture from about a week ago, and they look incredible. These are those Rio Tomo, the newest Corydorus species to hit the scene. But 55 or 59.99 a pop. They're a pricey one, but you can get 10% off right off the top. Also, blue tail hillstream loaches. He marked these down. They were $40. Now they're $29.99. These are the ones they've got blue in their fin, and then the kind of the like zebra print or kind of tiger stripe print on their body. So cool. Also, these guys, you know, they're still expensive. Everywhere you go, these guys are still expensive. I haven't seen them cut past the $15 point anywhere, and you could get them for less than $15 a piece if you use your discount and buy them. Also, obviously, the blueberry snail, which he was the first person in the world to, or not in the world, in the US to import. And he also has the Orange River version or the blueberry version. Now, the blueberry version is blue, whereas the Orange River version almost looks like it's orange on with black dots, but it is still kind of the same. It's just there's way more orange dots, and the actual shells are more of a peach or orange color, whereas again on the blueberry, it's more of like a rusty plum color on that shell. So yeah, now let's pop over to so on sale. I just wanted to show you guys this one thing. Oh, does he have any more? Oh no, he got rid of the sailfin gudgeons. These were nuts. I mean, these are such a rare fish, and he got these in. These were like the newest thing in the hobby. I hope he gets more, but they're coming in from China. He was the only person I knew, and other stores and other online sellers were getting them from Chang. So that's another thing I forgot to tell you guys, is that there are websites and people you may know as YouTubers even that sell things that Chang now supplies some of these fish, including like a lot of these L numbers now that are bred in captivity. Like, holy cannoli. At the moment this size is sold out, but $149.99 for the 236 super whites from a store is insane. You know, and they're a beautiful fish. Again, he's also got these sunset apisto, or as they're known, Atahualpa. They are a neat little and rare little apisto, and they've got kind of like the little blue mohawk, metallic blue, with the down stripe on the cheek and black eyes, which is kind of interesting. But anyways, he gets in some oddball stuff. Sometimes I will tell him like, "Oh, dude, bring this in," and he's like, "Okay," and maybe my ideas are a little bit half-baked sometimes. Albino Congo tetras. All right, so we're gonna blow through the rest of this a little quicker, but I just wanted to like let you know. Yeah, this is Moonlight Aquatics, someone I used to know, and again, they're and they're based in Washington. Chang is their owner's name. Super nice guy. Girly, have a good one. Also, Kenny, thank you so much for the super chat, bro. I really do appreciate that. You don't need to do that. You really don't need to do that. But thank you. That's very kind. And then also somebody asked us, PayPal take a cut when a person donates? No, they only take like a 3% cut. Technically, I'm supposed to report everything, that I get as taxes or taxable income. And they do tax it, but I do my darndest to try to write off as much as I can. So even though it gets taxed at 32% or 28%, depending on how you file things, I try to get that number down to around 15% taxable income each year. And so in theory, there's that. But no, the major thing is that, yes, YouTube on Super Chats just takes your money 40% right off the top and 50% of some of the like super thanks. So it's kind of a bummer that they do that because, I'd like it to stay in the YouTube ecosystem in that I appreciate everyone who does do likes and donations and stuff on YouTube because it does help, encourage others to participate. It does also, it looks good, like for the algorithm, so to speak, to see that people are willing to support a channel like that. But it is, it's not, obviously it's not the best way to do it. The other apps like Venmo and PayPal are. So I do have that info in my description of most of my videos. If you look under the description, and most of my links that are discounts that are current are always in my video description as well. So how does one find small-time breeders if you don't have aquarium clubs near you? You probably have an aquarium club somewhere within like a 3-hour drive or 4-hour drive of you, unless you're like in the Rockies, somewhere in the west, center west of the country. Yeah, it's also, I know some clubs aren't the best, or they're not the most organized, or they've kind of come and gone over the years. Or you don't want to drive 4 hours or whatever, 3 hours, 2 hours. But there are places like here where people are on Discord and they just say, hey, who's breeding what? Or, hey, I saw you have a picture of these. You want to sell me them? And that's one great way. When you see someone post a bunch of pictures in a group that you're active on online, hit them up and say, hey, you sell these? You want to send me some like that? I'm never afraid to do that. Now, Aquabit exists also if you want to, they've just redid that site. Cheers to that. Erased everyone's reviews and rankings. But they just did that. So that's another option. Yeah. Oh, Wyoming. Yeah, you are kind of skunked as far as that goes. Yeah, sorry. The Dakotas and Wyoming are rough. Yeah. I guess you could go to Dan's if you're anywhere near him, Dan's Fish. But if you're not, which wouldn't be surprising because no one's near anybody in Wyoming, I feel like all the main cities are like far apart. Yeah, you got a rough one. I'm sorry. Yeah, I would say you have to buy online. So yeah, let's continue online here. Also, the app banned. Yes, that's a good call, Jan. I agree. Yeah. Okay. A 6-hour drive to Dan's. Yeah, that's rough. That probably means you're closer to Salt Lake City or Denver then, right? Not that that's a huge help, but I'm just in my head wondering. Or does that mean you're up all the way by like Yellowstone? That would be the really SOL spot to be, like right next to Teton, like Jackson Hole. Yeah, you're nowhere near a fish club there. Let's see here. Okay. So let's look through a couple other things on here that are notable and cool new fish that I've bugged Chang to carry. These ones I have bugged him to carry. Now they're more expensive than I expected, and I didn't buy any, and so I feel bad. But I think other people have. But the Barito, I call them burrito loaches, Capusia phalaris. They're an interesting one, a very cave fish genus. They're kind of a peachy orange color to pink. I don't know how red they get, but they definitely get more orange and red when they're excited and spawning and stuff. And then they got the black bars on them. They're a known entity. They're kind of like a big coolie loach or dojo loach, but they're very cool. They've got that little they've got bands on them that then have like dots in the bands. So there's a face mask that's kind of unique, and then there's a band that goes around their like neck and saddle area, and then in those two bands there's dots, and then further back there's just two more bands or three more bands depending on how long the fish is, and they're solid, and then the tail has that kind of paintbrush swoop look. But get 10% off, you're getting $6 off, so you're getting them for 50, 54, 53, $54. Pretty good deal. Also, Annie's Staphodon, these guys are a rare one. They're not always around, obviously. Aquatic Arts used to carry Staphodons a lot, and they don't have them like they used to consistency wise, but they do have some. I mean, like Rainbow or the ornate ones, they have become absolutely everywhere in the hobby, and they've come down in price. But a lot of the ones that are native to like Palau or some really far out there island or something have not gotten more popular at all. So yeah, Palm Street and TikTok have sales too, or live sales. I didn't know that, Jeff. I don't even know what Palm Street is. That shows what a boomer I am. And Aquahype was like, sorry, can you start over? And the truth is, yeah, at the 2 hour mark, basically, we did the thing I said we were going to do this entire time, which was, go through my favorite fish. And because my wife's not back from her movie yet, I'm going to continue to do this. So also, he has them back. I don't want to show you guys this at all, but he has the betta Atuna or Atuta Atuna. That was a Freudian slip, I guess. But these are cool. This is as close as maybe this or maybe a macrostoma is closer. I don't know. Close to a snakehead as you're going to get. But very beautiful wild bettas. Good price. Usually those are $200. They're 4 inches or so. Big old bettas. Big old bettas. And they have an attitude. They're going to be needing a species on tank. Also, the betta Alba marginata Milanau. He's got these, and he's got a pair for $50, or you can get male and female for $25 a piece. So might as well get a pair, right, guys? But betta Alba marginata are great. Betta imbelis, awesome fish. I am gonna go buy some of these. These are one of my all-time favorite bettas. Betta mahachiensis is another really great betta that Aquatic Arts has actually been having. These are those new Black Arrow carry tetras. And these are, well, that's confusing because he's got rice fish in the picture. But these are tank raised. The Black Arrow tetras there. I wish you had a better picture. I've showed you guys these fish before, so I'm not going to worry about that. But yeah. Also, guys, his shrimp are still the best deal in town. Black Rose, $3.99. I think it's buy 10, you get another one free. So, or 9, get another one free. I don't know. You can email and ask. I forget what the deal is. But use the code and get your 10% off, and then order freaking 10 of these or 9 or whatever, get 10. $3.99. Well, you're gonna get another 10% off. So again, there goes 50 cents or whatever. So they're really like $3.50 a shrimp. They've got blue dreams, they've got yellows. I mean, they're really high quality shrimp. Same with their caradinas only being $8.99 for their like blue bolts. Pretty well. Also, the Bloody Mary Hillstream Loach. These were like I've said in the past, these were really expensive. These were $120 when they first came in. He's had them for $39 in the past, but now he's dropped the price yet again to $29.99 because of his connections in China, which, you know, now he can get his hands on these things. Also, you know, I was breeding these for a while last year, and I'm sure this is the same source as, or actually 2 years ago. These were liberating with my Liberty Mollies, the Kohaku Swordtails. They never did interbreed, which wasn't so much a worry as a actual experiment. Also, he's got nice guppies, you know, blue dragon guppies, $14.99. There's the blueberry snail. He's got another blue tail hillstream loach. He's got, you know, several different hillstream loaches with the different color tails. But here's the Corys, and the people were asking about Corys, and he's got some really cool. Like, what the heck is a Corydoras cervinus or a Corydoras nicini, which is like, you know, that's usually the episto name, ninjensis, as a lot of people say, or nugensisini. But yeah, I mean, you can see he's got all sorts. Corydoras sararensis. I mean, looks like a Brochus more. I'm not sure on if that can't be an actual Corydoras, I wouldn't think. Anyways, also he has a lot of rare rainbow fish very frequently. But here is the Cali Awalim, and these are really interesting looking. Just a killer deal at $20 a pop for I mean, tank raised. These are like peak condition. I don't know how these places are doing it for the prices they are in Indonesia, but they're growing these fish to like 2 years old, these rainbow fish, to fully adult, and they look incredible so often. Also, like Corydoras or Hoplosoma Santa Cruz or Cruzensis, these guys are so adorable. They're little polka dots with the dipped black tip and the little stripes on the tail. Kind of look like smudge spots or whatnot, but they're not. They're Corydoras 12 or C12. Only $29.99, which, I mean, usually these things are like $50. But look at this. This is one of my favorites. The Bosemani Corydoras. $50. You guys would get your 10% off, though. I mean, just, wow. It's almost like a marbled pattern. It's like a line within lines on the back. I think these rare Corys are the way to go. If you want to breed something, these are great. Obviously, the gold laser Corydoras for only $11.99. Great. Look at this black crystal, double S and S grade. I mean, you know, like, look at these shrimp. They're really good quality shrimp for caradinas. That's nuts. I mean, it blows my mind that anybody's selling them for $5. I don't know anybody else. So I would recommend Garden of Eder shrimp usually, but damn, their prices are nuts. Like, this is Moonlight Aquatic, and they are unstoppable. Also, they've got these Corydoras Sipwalini, really, really cute little ones. They got little yellow around their eye, like a little amber color yellow ring around their eye. But they're cool. They got this like long, it even kind of curves like a feather fin along the posterior of the dorsale. Also, flaming arrow gobies, electric blue jack dempseys, Dumbo ear mosaic guppies. Let's see. Oh, Galaxy Auto Synkless. Yeah, that's right. He's got these back, and they're not $100 or $50 like you've seen them other places. They're only $34.99. Just as good as a normal Auto Synkless, but I mean, they're galaxy spotted. What more can I say? Look at that. They've got stars on them. And you guys would get like another $5 off with the code. Again, he's got some of the gold neon dwarf gobies, Stiphodon rudolarius. Really beautiful when these guns color up. Even when they're not colored up, the males tend to look like this, which is fairly interesting. I mean, I think that's cool. And then also the Roseline Denison barbs that are golden. He's got those $39.99. He's also got these Carry Emperor Tetras, which we were talking about Emperor Tetras earlier. Here's the albino ones, $4.99. Not bad at all. Look at this. If you really want a super rare that literally the whole fish gets blood red as one of those bottom Hillstream butterfly shaped loaches. This is the Hillstream Red Devil, and it doesn't have a name yet, but it's a gastromyzon, and it is like literally the whole thing turns like blood red. Very wild. You know, he had $6.99 swordtails. He also has $59.99 for a pair of swordtails. So you can go as highbrow or as lowbrow as you want. He's also got the green laser. These are new in the hobby. They're new to science. They did get named quickly in the last few years, but these are the Lepidogaster, and they're the gastromyzon, so they're in the main family. But these turn like a pale green color and have like a yellow, or like this dark green kind of like comes with the lighting in one side, and then they're kind of like a Logonandra Boldi or Boost in that you see them from another angle and they just kind of shimmer with like a green color. They're kind of cool. I mean, not just kind of cool, they're very cool. Also, these fire ant tetras, I used to think they were lame. The way they feed is like a little piranha. They're really hardcore feeders when they feed up at the top or stuff that's sinking, and then they are pretty bright. You know, I still think they're too expensive for what they are, but that is a very good price considering they're like 30 or $34.99 is what I've seen them at a lot of places. Again, he's got like Ivancara bimaculata, $34.99, which is a great fish, great cichlid. He's got these Japanese bluegrass guppies, which are new. L80, L236s. He's got so many things like that. The Alencore Tigers, only $39.99. I know Aquatic Arts has them for $59.99. Oh, he's got the Pitbull Plecos back. So these are the LDA 25s, and these are tiny. This is the tiniest. I think this is the smallest, perhaps. Pleco, if you want to call, like if you want to delineate it that way. But I know that's not they're definitely not the smallest loricariidae, but they're probably the smallest of the plecos, definitely of the L numbers. And they only get like 1.5 inches long, and they stay really tiny, called little pit bull plecos, because they punch a lot of wiggle power, and they've got little spikes in their pectoral fins, so they can kind of fight and they can harm each other. But again, $8.99 orange Bolivian, red eye orange Bolivian tetras, which that is going to get its own species designation finally. But I love these fish. So freaking beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful to me. But yeah, he's got all those Medaka in, and they'll be listed any day now. I think he's got a few things already listed. Also, these Melanitania Pogwai Village, Affinis, these guys, he had I mean, he's got a number of other rainbows too, like Melanitania pygmaea. These are another really one, like people sleep on these. They will miss these. They don't appreciate what a cool species that is. Also, the Milky Way woodcat, he got more of these from me. The mini orcas, I think he was trying to get more of, but there is a ban right now on exporting from Colombia. Obviously, can't from Venezuela, but yeah, there's so stuff coming out of the Amazon has to come through Brazil right now, and Brazil also has kind of strict limits for the this time of year because right now they're spawning, and so they let the fish spawn without being collected in a lot of places. But they also have Aru fours or Aru twos, whatever you're looking for. Usually, I think yeah, Aru fours here. And then he had a good amount of the vampire crabs and stuff recently. I thought a picture would pop up. But that's all, you know, Aquatic Arts has had that too. Again, one of the other things that he's had, yeah, these red eye. So these are the ones that a lot of times are an actually different species. Are the Carry tetras with the red eye. They're not albino, they're just red eye. But those are called emperor sometimes rather than Carry. Red eye, red-tailed puffer. These are the Arabesco, and these were very, very rare for a while. You can get a pair of them. Oh, they're sold out at the moment, I think. Oh, yeah, he's got males still, which are more colorful anyways. But those were hard to find for a long time. You wouldn't see them for years on end. And he's had them pretty consistently lately. So I hope there's people in town breeding them, but I don't know. Also, dwarf ranger plecos might be close to, for sure. They might be. I'm not sure what the actual smallest pleco is. Like you said, or like I said, like the smallest Loricaridae, I don't know what that would be, but yeah. Waiting for the Medacas to see if there's any strains I don't have. Jan, I didn't know you had a bunch of different Medaka. Interesting. Look at these red tail loaches, Gastromyzon SK2. These are probably the brightest red ones he has. But look at that maze pattern they have. I love the maze pattern ones. I think it's better than the spots or the stripes. Like, see, these have spots and stripes. These are pink, by the way. I passed those over quickly, but they actually have a bright pink tail. It's not subtle in real life. This picture is kind of hard to see it. It's the lighting or something. But they have pink fin highlight here and then the pink tail. It's amazing how many different Gastromyzon species there are. There are so many. Absolutely nuts. Also, he does have scratch tetras for only $14.99. That's a good deal. But and they look really good. You can see all these colors, like all the rainbow colors are on them technically. Just most are young or whatnot. Hey, he does have smudge spot cories for $14. So if you did want a Hoplosoma without the dipped ink top and the little stripes on the tail, there you go. Also the Moa Island. Ooh, he's got the new Tanichthys white clouds. These are the royal white clouds. So these are the Migeme, which these are the way less common meteor minnow or white cloud minnow, whatever you want to call it. They're not the original Tan's minnow. These are well, also the wild form. Obviously, they don't have long fins or anything. But there are three that we see in the hobby. There's the Vietnamese one. There's the tan one, and then there's one from coastal China and northern Vietnam. And those are a thing. They're fine, you know, whatever. But not a what's the word? They're not super exciting to me, but that really is. Also, they're snow white, bristlenose, super cool. Oh, they got Congo puffers for 174, but you guys could get that for 20 bucks off that with code fish310. So you could pay 155 for a Congo puffer if you're ready. You got like a 240-gallon tank plus. Also, look at this 3-spotted earth eater, Satanoperca Damon. Yeah, there's a name only a mother could not eat. Yeah, so here's the Emperor Tetra, the super blue ones. And again, this is like, these also go by the name Carry Tetra. Here's the blacker version too. But those you can see they were albino, and then they crossed them with something melanistic. So it's really frustrating, their names. Also, here's one of the new Medacas, I guess he has listed. And these are the tricolor Lame Medaka rice fish. And again, these are from Japan and China or Taiwan. I'm not sure which ones are from where, but they're again bred to be seen from on top. And I know you had one that was like a cherry blossom is its name, but I don't know which one that is or whatnot either. I can ask him. But this has like a metallic blue. You guys can go to their website, moonlightaquatics.com, and check it out. But again, these are beautiful. I love these. They've got that just beautiful sparkle, and they were bred to be seen from above, and they're 10 bucks a pop. I can't speak much higher. Also, he does have witcher crabs too, the yellow witcher crabs, which are from the Western Ghat Mountains of India, down by Goa. They're very cool. They can, I think they're, don't quote me, but I think they can be underwater all the time, like full time. What else? Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, he's also got these Ulysses Medaka, which are a little different. They have like a brass color and silver and platinum and gold. Like they're a bunch of colors and a bunch of speckles. They're really pretty too. I'm gonna do my best, guys, to get up there sooner or later. He's also got these platinum ones that are $7.99. I mean, come on, guys, that's crazy price. Plus you get 10% off. So let me see what else. So it'll be hitting the website even if it isn't there yet. I'll show you guys. StreamYard, Alex, hop back up there. I think they can be underwater all the time. Thanks for not quoting me. Ulysses are gorgeous. Yeah, I know. I've seen them before. Locally at Aquarium Zen, they are being sold for I think they're being sold for $29.99 or something ridiculous each. Might even be more than that. Might even $59.99. Sometimes shops just pick an arbitrary price and it's just astronomical, and it's just because they think they're the only ones in town who have it or who know about it or whatever, and you're just like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, always another reason to set up more tanks after watching your stream. I keep fish. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, there's never a bad time to set up another tank. Sometimes you have to tear down a tank. It's depressing. You got to set 2 more up, right? It's just how physics works. Oh, he was showing me the beta, his beta. Yeah, he showed me that. I forgot too. He sent me that video of the betas slowly circling. Oh, so beautiful. The Atunta. And he's got the red hat or red heads or red halves, and then he's got these oranges. Some of the oranges are sherbet, as they call them, and are like, they are going to be the 10 bucks, but the others are $7.99 for some of the oranges, and they're just that orange. They have a tail that's the chisel tail that just goes out like this and then is kind of flat. And then the others have the tail that goes out like that, kind of like a diamond. Man, you guys can see how bad my dry skin on my elbow is. Oh, and I also cut my elbow. It's that dry. Hello, wife.
Hello.
Can you say hello to the people?
Hello, people.
My wife has returned home and she brought birds nesting with her. I already told the people about our bird nest
Yeah, I
conundrum.
think that's a bad spot for the nest.
Yeah.
For a bird, it's not high enough for them to get into it. There's like this much space behind them.
Well, they're building a new one, right? Where the old one was. Are they there?
No.
Okay. Anyways, Medaka breeder trios are an investment, though. They are. I agree. There are like these ones. Real quick, hold on. Aquatic Arts has some, and I've been the stupid manager, David keeps he keeps sending me the freaking the manager at Aquatic Arts, which again, by the way, you guys get 15% off these with our good discount, which was just rebooked for another year. I was just told that we're safe for another year. Oh, look how different these this other species of white cloud really does look. It looks so different than the one Chang had. Wild. But they have also, the other thing they have right now, which is really cool, is they have the Tychochromis grandidieri, which is actually the Madagascar, absolutely beautiful West Coast cichlid. They're like Oscar size. They're pretty big, but super beautiful. And they have those. They have some goodyids. They have like the tequila goodyids. They also have the rare Stigmatochromis. They have two of the species, anyways. And then what was it I was looking for? Oh, they've got the Amapa tetras too. That's pretty cool. I think it's you get 3 of them for $44. But what was? Oh, I'm looking for right. I'm waiting for the pictures to load. But what I want to load is the Medaka they have. They have a really, really crazy price Medaka trio. But oh my gosh, Jan's right. It's an investment. You would make bank off their babies. But these are Xingu Black Neon Tetras, a newer morph. Very cool, yellow, blue, black, purpley gray, kind of smoky color. I want to add those to my newest tank, perhaps. I don't know. Actually, I should probably not add anything. Okay, so somebody earlier asked about these, and this is another thing I wanted to, like, another reason why I wanted to bring this up over here, is that this is a hybrid of the Celestial Pearl Danio and the Erythromicron. You lose all the stripes. You do lose a lot of the color, generally speaking, or they're more faded, I guess would probably be a better way of saying that. But they have this dot on their caudal peduncle on the back tail fin, and then they've got the silver belly. And unlike CPDs, they have no color in their fins, which CPDs, if you don't remember, have beautiful orange, stunning fins. But those ones, I think those are going for maybe like $8 a piece or something. Is it a 6-pack that they're selling? No, 3. Wow, those are expensive. I'm actually shocked. They have orange dots over the deep bluish black. That's interesting. Anyways, yeah, they're going around. They're possible, and they do exist. Praycocks, again, this price, it seems like a lot for 3 of them. It just does. But I'm trying to get to the Lame. Here's the actual erythromicrons, and they're a very pretty, a very cool fish that I would like. $16.99. That's probably for a 3-pack. Yeah, so for a 3-pack. So basically, you know, it's like $6 a piece, right? Something like that. But you get 15% off. And then here is the Blue Emperor or Purple Emperor Tetra, which is actually a carry Tetra, which is frustrating. Remember we just talked about all this? Yeah, well, it's frustrating. Well, also, these Japanese red double sword guppies, super beautiful. I really do love those. And then the bluegrass, very pretty. These black saddles for $17.99, really, really, really pretty. I really like these. I was thinking about buying some of these from Aquatic Arts. Actually, they're really pretty. And when it says bred by Aquatic Arts, it means they were bred in-house, which is great. Otherwise, it'll say locally bred or hobby bred. Black chin live bears also being bred in-house now, which is great. They're another really good one. I hope they start doing like teddy tigers and lamias and stuff like that. But these dwarf blue panda guppies, these things were you couldn't like, they just went like there was no tomorrow. People got these things like Tickle Me Elmo, these bluish Dumbo ear, flauncy finned dwarf blue panda guppy. They're also like a short body stubby guppy, but they're not like round or anything. They're not like sickly short. They're selling Kalitawas also, which I love these. And I think, yeah, for 3, it's interesting that they specify that it's a school bred in the USA. And the reason they're doing that, when it doesn't say Aquatic Arts like this, bred by Aquatic Arts, but it does say tank bred, that's generally gonna tell you that it's an actual breeder, like one of you guys that is getting the money for bringing them in, which I think is great. Okay, here's one set of these Kurorame Medaka rice fish. And these are the same, you know, Latin species, Latin name species, Oryzis latips, but they are a unique collection point, and they do have a really long fin set. They do have a black line down the center that's really cool of their head, and they have all this lame sparkling pattern. Absolutely gorgeous fish. And that $84.99 is for 3 fish. But use my discount, y'all. Diggity discount. Get that 15% off. And it looks like they only have four sets of them left. There's one other one I wanted to show you guys. They also have a few other fish, like, oh yeah, pearl cichlid, Geophagus brasiliensis. That's cool. But they have gold barbs. That's fun. Golden dragon guppies. These look really nice. Even the females look really nice. But look at the gold on the male. Gold. So female, male, female, male. Look at this. Go back. Freaking, I'll click on it and we'll just look at it this way. The males have this like reddish bronze to gold, like actual gold color. These are all metallic colors, and this is like green, a little bit of blue, into like just incredible coloring. Absolutely incredible. I can't believe that those are going to be only $16.99. Also the green Moscow. I don't know how they get around calling these green Moscows, because they're like purple, blue, and green. But again, absolutely stunner fish. And the females do have some color in the fins as well. again, here's kind of one of those pintails. Some of these have that pintail that we were talking about earlier. If you look, see they've got the flame. It's like a spade tail. Some of these come to a real defined point, and these are they vary quite a bit if you see here, but these are very similar to the endlers that LRB Lucas used to sell. Again, they still have the Mayan butterfly fish. Also, they have the Kuliloches. Where are those last? Oh, and they have a really good deal on these red honey Trichogaster tuna Ugarami. These are sunset, or sometimes called peach or peach sunset honey guramis. Really fun to spawn. It's what the bright yellow ones I have are too, species wise. They've just been bred by humanity several ways. So then they're also doing assorted guppies that are just like, you get what you get. Spawns crossed of all their different lines they keep, that's cool. I think that's fun. Tinwini Danios, Rosy Loaches, Cockatoos. Yeah, look at this blue tiger double sword endler again. Here's another just stunner. Again, silver platinum guppy Postcilia. These are another really interesting one. Really interesting. Like, look how platinum that is, and it even runs out on the fins, which is very unusual for guppies. Look at that male's tail. It's kind of a pin, and it's kind of a lyre tail or leer tail with like a flat brush in the center. I don't even know what you would say about these for like what would breed true from them, but very interesting fish nonetheless. Aquatic Arts like clearly has stepped up their act with what they're carrying. They've also got these black bar endlers that are straight up the wild color morph. Very cool. Only $8, but you guys could get them for even less than that. You can get them for like $7. French Blue Star endlers. These are another older kind of like Silverado endler. These are a domesticated form. Elegant pencilfish, that's a cool one for $10.99. Do you get more than? Yeah, you get 3 for $10.99. They've got that red and bronze color with the blue. They hang out at the weird angles. They're a cool one. They add a lot to a tank. That's for sure. And they also have the gold laser cories that were $11.99 at Chang's shop. And apparently, though, here they are $84 for 3. So that tells you the difference between Chang and some of the other places. But at the same time, some things are just not as quality. Some things are just different sources, etc., etc. But peacock gudgeons, $11.99. My peacock gudgeons came from Aquatic Arts. I know where they get theirs overseas, like from which supplier, and they get these really beautiful ones. Once they're established in the home aquarium and happy, they really truly are stunning. Also, you can see the panda dwarf cichlids. They've got the normal ones that are tank bred, and then they've got the locally bred ones. I don't really know the huge difference. Oh, here we go. This is another one of the amber lame madakas, and this is for 3 fish. But look at these beauties. Ooh-wee. With that yellow. Oh, dun 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 dun. Guys, what do you think of that one? Hey, Dagmar, it's so good to see you. And Sunny, good to see you too. Also, by the way, I'm so sorry if I missed you. I mean, I missed you. Amy, what's up? Also good to see you. But E-Boy TBR, Lurker Donation. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that as well. Oh, my picture gone. Hey, hey, what up? Thank you so much for the super chat from a lurker at that. That's really appreciated. The super chats have been very kind today. And rolling right in another super chat from Amy Maldonado. Thank you so much, you guys. Helps keep the lights on. Helps buy me the breath mints because my mouth is mushy and dry. Show us your tanks. So I did last time. I'm not gonna right now just because my phone's not charged much. It's at like 22%, or I would. And last time I couldn't get the internet working very well. The cat is probably doable. Honey, can you grab the kitty? She hasn't moved since this morning. Same place she's been all day. Yeah, that's why it's not a big deal if we move her. The cat at 8 o'clock this morning found a little spot and has not moved from it. Oh man, I have a couple more fish I gotta show you though. And I have some assorted rice fish that are 22 bucks from Chang as well. Also, there are some red lizard hillstream loaches that are pretty cool.
Very upset.
Very upset.
She was asleep in her little mama pillow, mama blankie.
Baby girl. Look, what?
Yes, you need to be on screen.
I know, but I also want to get the goobers out of her eyes. We love you, baby girl. Oh, yes. There you go. They're out of your eyes. Okay. There's the baby girl.
Time.
Okay, we woke her up, guys. Are you happy now? My baby girl. Are you crying? I can't hear her. I've got headphones on. She's not. She's very upset. I hope you're happy now that Sumi's awake. I hope you freaking happy, you terrorist. Jan says, thanks for bringing Sumi over and saying hi. Everyone says, we're happy now. Yeah, gotta love Sumi the cat. She's the bestest. Love her. All right, let's finish up this, my favorite fish that are available in the spring right now. Stuff's pretty limited right now. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of stuff in the world going on that's limiting stuff, but a lot of people just, the difference between like, I make a living doing construction in the Amazon, and on the weekends I take 3 or 4 day trips out to go collect fish for an extra 20 bucks US. Well, when gas is, so expensive and, that doesn't happen as much. Or when people don't buy fish as much, the orders don't get made as much. And the more unusual stuff don't get ordered as much either. And then the people stop coming. So that's the other reason I wanted to highlight these people doing it right. Imperial Aquatics, always a good one to check out. Imperial Tropicals. Of course, the Garden of Eater Shrimps, and of course, the lovely Aquatic Arts right here. My oldest friends. Yeah, these are beautiful. This is not the horseface or saddle loach, which I thought it was when I saw these at the first time. These are red lizard hillstream loaches. They are in the same the Homoloptera. They are in the same genus or genera as the horseface loach and the saddle loach, but these are different. The red lizard hillstream loach, and they have this beautiful freaking pattern on them. It's really quite nice. Anyways, I yike yam a yacht. Whoa, that's, you get, wait, really? You get 3 of them for $29.99? Is that for real? Okay, I'm gonna order those. I'm gonna get off the phone and order those now. Wow. Okay. The other thing that I was gonna tell you guys is they got the Gertrude These are the Aru 2s essentially, but these ones just aren't from one of the Aru islands, but they are the lemon yellow ones. They're not the honey orange ones or the metallic or kind of off greenish bronze ones like some are. Then they also have assorted rice fish. These are, yeah, they're pretty banged up looking. I think it's just their genetics. Sometimes they're not bad. They're all just kind of, yeah. They're definitely assorted rice fish. That's what happens if you don't keep your lines straight or start working towards a process. Again, these short body glass belly guppies, these are interesting. Watch this. You can see on this guppy, watch what happens when I go down a picture. Yeah, right here. So the females, this is so weird. They're like invisibly see-through. You can see like every egg and you can see their babies developing in their bellies. Is that not wild, guys? I mean, that's wild to me. But then the males, I think they're pretty cute too, with the little bat wing, with the trail pecs and the buttercream to yellow daisy color. And then I mean, obviously there's lots of fish at Aquatic Arts, but they have the ruby tetras, which I also want really bad right now. And then they have the gold mountain minnows. They also have the cobalt dwarf stiphodons. Here's their I always mess up this, how you say this. Yuri Shisu. Yuri Shisu. And these guys, they're pretty cool, but again, I think you get, well, three fish isn't the end of the world, I guess, for 60 bucks. So they're about 20 bucks a piece. They're kind of like either a saddle or like a red cap or a saddle kind of red, but they're pretty. Yeah, they're pretty. These are all new. These rice fish that they're adding. These yokihi and yohuki that you can find out there in the Mayuki blue ones. These ones have orange that goes into the tail there, into the tails. Some don't. It's just a matter of preference, obviously, but they're pretty cool. These are back, and I had to yell it from the rooftops. And yeah, you only get one for 20 bucks. But guys, you get 15% off with my discount. And they also have the I think these are the brilliant rummy nose tetras too. I don't know if they didn't list it that way or if that's not what they are. Maybe I'm tripping, but they look like the ones that have the platinum gene that have the very red heads. There's 3 species of rummy nose, by the way, but yeah. Also another guppy, and they're just raising all sorts of guppies. And then also they have the Congo tetras here. They also have the little cories. They're pretty cute. How many is that for? 65 bucks for 3. Interesting. Yeah, that seems like, I mean, Histadus have been hard to find for a while, but to me, not that hard. Again, Vienna guppies, people have drove for days to get these stupid things. Not stupid things. They're very pretty, but they're gold and they're fire colors. Corey had some that he let go of from Aquarium Co-op at the store, and people like went nuts over them. Also, these purple tiger guppies. I mean, look at the freaking fish, you guys. They've got some really cool stuff at Aquarium or Aquatic Arts right now. I've been really shocked by how nice everything has been there. It's it's very weird. Also, They've got these, pink tuxedo guppies. Then they have the magenta. I hate these with this ribbon tail thing, or whatever you call it, swallowtail. $15.99, but you can get a female or a male, and you can get swallowtail or normal tail. And again, here they are, and for whatever reason, this pattern, look at that, that's pretty cool. That's kind of like the dragon one, dragon pattern. But yeah, it's kind of wild, all the different libraries they will now have on hand. All the black Medaka rice fish have gone the way of the dodo, I guess. They're no longer in store. I think that was everything that I wanted to show you guys here. There were some LeMay rice fish that were $150 that I was like laughing at first, but then when I thought about like it's an investment, that comment, yeah, it is. So it's kind of like, well, if you could sell those babies for $20 a piece or even $10 a piece, even if you really undercut yourself, you could probably sell them like hotcakes. So if they have many babies, yeah, you can make some money for sure. I mean, that's true of any of these fish that are rare, is like you sell them dirt cheap and make people super happy. Also, they're carrying now a bunch of axolotls, or they will be soon. They were, so apparently they're a hot ticket if everybody's buying them, I guess. I don't know. I don't like axolotls. I'm sorry, guys. Just not my cup of tea. Also, their other inverts and snails, crabs. They do have a lot of these man, why can't I? I'm losing my edge, guys, which is fine. I'm gonna need to quit soon, anyways. These yin yang crabs are still there, and so are the rainbow vampire, which I never got because they're like red and orange, which is definitely not the constituent parts of a rainbow. But they have the vampire crab, the Halloween vampire crabs. Those seem to do really well. Those and the discos. Also, these carnival ones, look at that, $12.99. Oh, I want them so bad. And these freshwater pom-poms, orchid vampire crab. Yeah, they got like, what, 9 crabs right now? That's pretty wild. And then on top of that, they're actually moving. They got crayfish too, probably. Yeah, they got a neon red crayfish. Oh, look at that. They got all these crayfish. King Kong, they got the little CPOs. Yeah, $13.99. Yeah, very cool. And you can get the breeder set blue CPOs too. The wild CPOs that come in natural colors. So guys, there's a ton of stuff. They're selling water chillers now. So much cool stuff at Aquatic Arts too. The yellow and orange and white Amanos. Man, they're doing a lot of the most. But anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, ribbon guppies make me the most sad because the adult males can't breed. I know. I agree. There are some. I did Imperial Tropicals already. We did that one first, actually. But they had some. What is it? Crenicula or crenic. I can't talk anymore. They had pike cichlid, rainbow pike cichlids for $10 that are just beautiful. I mean, they're incredible. They were selling. They're 2 or 3 inches right now, but super good. And then they had all sorts of other, great priced stuff at the moment. But Yeah. Okay, guys. So we've gone through the list. We've done questions and answers. We have hit the 3-hour mark, guys. It's the longest stream I've done in a while. Medaka breeds so easily and can survive under thin sheets of ice. The hardy ones, yeah, totally. You can stay year round with them. I wouldn't try that with the $100 strains. Yeah, I wouldn't either. Holly Gibbs, what's going on? Did you just get here and I'm just now saying I'm leaving? I'm sorry. If that's the case, I am truly sorry because it's not a party till Holly's here. But I hope everybody's doing well. We hit the 3-hour mark, guys, and for me, that means that I have to go break now. It means I'm a broken toy. I have to go return to the island of broken toys. That, and I will make a short updating you on the bird situation for the birds. You guys, thank you so much for just being here, for being friends, for being supportive, for asking questions, for supporting each other's questions. Hang out in the Facebook group, in the Discord group. Hang out in the comments here. It's always a fun time. Share any videos that you think are interesting with each other. Also, share them with me. Like, if you see something that you're like, dang, that's nerdy, and it's just cool, and it's not even about fish, but just about science or something, let me know. Or you just think like, oh, Alex likes that band, whatever. I love feedback. I love doodads. I love gifts. I love wall art. Whatever it is, like whatever you guys love, I like hearing about it. So, and I like sharing it back with the community. So yeah. All right, you guys. I just thank you for such a long stream. I've been watching from our boat. Oh, right on. I hope you have a good one out on the boat. That's cool. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. I like turtles. Radina, bye. Sunny, bye. And those of you who have the aquatic arts and Moonlight, and there's one person who has a tropical or imperial tropicals, but everyone else got cash sent to them. I think I got every international. There only ended up being 2, so I got the 2 international folks, and I got the what do you call it? Yeah, there was, what was it? Oh, somebody didn't respond at one point, but I think I got everyone now. So everyone should have either heard back from Aquatic Arts and gotten their gift card, or they'll be hearing like any day now from Imperial or Aquatic Arts. I think Moonlight already hit everybody up for me, which I appreciated them doing so quickly. But yeah, I kind of had to wait to get everyone's info and then send that over. Then they have to give it to their person, and then that person has to send it back to the group of people. But I put it all together in one file for all of them. So we did successfully give away $1,000 worth of gift cards and money. Well, $200 worth of money, $800 worth of gift cards, and to be very specific, I guess, what would that be? $650 worth of gift cards and some hats and stickers and stuff too, with fish related obsessive content. Aquatic contacted, oh good, Sunny, glad to hear. I think they have probably contacted everyone then, I would hope, but I just wanted to say that to be safe. But cool, I'm glad people are getting their gift cards. I wish I could give you guys even more. You guys make it very, very rewarding to be doing this. And, thank you so much for all today's super chats and all of the, content, all just liking, commenting, sharing, coming back and leaving a message or a comment of like your favorite fish or like what you think of a place for people who are trying to decide, like, should I shop somewhere? That all helps. Sharing the discount codes, that obviously helps me too. So you guys have been the best. You guys are always the best. Just thank you so much. I'm going to go now. Hopefully I will see you on Tuesday at the latest, and hopefully, maybe another day here or there for an hour. in between then when I'm going over trimming and doing a couple things in the flame tank. So everybody, I'm gonna see my kitty. I'm gonna go rest a little bit. I'm pretty worn out after this. My brain doesn't work the way it used to, and 3 hours is it comes up as a lot. My eyes and my brain and everything start to go error 404 code. Guys, with that being said, I'm leaving. I'm leaving on a jet plane, and I know when I'll be back again. Darling, please give me your thumb so I can feed it to my piranhas. 'Cause I'm bleeding on a piranha tank. Don't know when I'll be wet again. Darling, please miss the bone. Okay, guys, have a good one. Much love. Bye. Sumi, I'm coming, my love. I mean, wife. I love wife. I love the wife. Bye.